Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 109 of the Avocado Gamescast, the Avocado's gaming podcast. I'm Merve, and we have got a great show lined up for you today. It's our annual look ahead episode. We are going to be talking about everything that's in store for us in the world of gaming in 2025. We're going to be making predictions, sharing what we're anticipating, and of course, evaluating how well we did at predicting last year. For this episode, I'm joined by an amazing group of regulars. First up, she's taking inspiration from Juniper and trying to perfect her Ojo-sama laugh. It's QuinleyThorne.
If I could project that laugh like a ventriloquist, I would have so much fun in public spaces.
I can definitely see that. She's been calling Bloodborne her favorite Another Crab's Treasure-like. Crab-like for short, it's Lovely Bones.
Hi. The crab-like genre is evolving rapidly.
And finally, he's been running around in a priest's outfit, whacking fascists with candlesticks. And totally unrelated, he's also been playing the latest Indiana Jones game. It's the Kappa.
Hey, yeah, there is a lot of whacking in that game. It kind of reminds you how fun it is to just hit somebody with something in a video game.
Oh, that sounds like my kind of game.
I've been calling it FPW. It's a first-person whacker.
It really is.
90% of what you do.
Like, you walk into an area, and, like, the first thing you do is, like, what's around here I can hit people with? There's a wrench, there's a guitar. I got a lot of options.
Oh, yeah, one of my favorite things was I think I picked up a cello and started whacking bad guys with it. Yeah.
You're like a gun. I'm going to flip this thing around and whack someone with it.
Not even going to shoot it.
I have fired a grand total of 6 bullets in 7 hours of play.
That sounds
wow.
Right.
Yeah. But that actually brings us to what we've been playing over the holidays. So we'll each talk about one game we played over the past few weeks, because it's been a while since we talked about what we've been playing. Kappa, what did you play over the holidays?
Well, I played a lot of stuff, actually. Got a lot gaming. Indiana Jones, of course. I played a whole bunch of Elder Scrolls Online, but the one I wanted to talk about was Mortal Kombat 1.
Oh, wow.
I'm interested to hear
big
this.
old reboot. So, I mean, I don't play fighting games versus people, first of all. So, I mean, I don't really know what that's about. But what I do love about Mortal Kombat is the absolutely insane campaigns, with a K, of course. And this one is maybe the craziest. So Liu Kang has become the protector of time. He's reset all the timelines and basically made like Shang Tsung like a snake oil salesman, and Quan Chi is like a miner, like with an E. And like they're like they're he's protecting the realms by like just fucking with time. And of course you know how well that works out. So
basically has Raiden's role now, right?
Right. So ends up being like some mysterious force comes through time.
Can I just say that Liu Kang becoming a god who controls and rewrites reality, being portrayed as benevolent, is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
When I covered this thing before it came out, I literally said he was the villain because I thought that was an objectively villainous thing.
Well, he's not a villain, but like the game kind of like tells you like you're naive because these forces will always be, Shang Tsung will always be evil. Quan Chi will always want to.
Okay, but will he though?
Trolling reality is inherently tyrannical.
So,
whatever.
I think it's Mortal Kombat. First of all, remember this. It's not a philosophy, but so it ends up being like you have to kind of fight through almost like different timelines to make things right. And you get a lot of like, would have this character have gone bad, or would this character have stayed good? So you end up with like Sub-Zero. He feels the pull of the evil Shang Tsung and takes the Lin Kuei to be evil, while Scorpion holds true to being a defender of the Earth realm and stuff like that.
The game that asked what if Sub-Zero and Scorpion were cousins?
Yeah. Well, and this one they go back to being brothers, because like before they kind of messed with that. So really cool. Smoke ends up being in there, and he's like an adopted brother named Tomas, which I thought was kind of so all in all, it's just batshit crazy, the campaign, but really fun to play through. The moves, they have this system called Cameo, which is you basically have a second fighter you can call in to do like a special move for you,
Like in
Whenever,
just Capcom, like
Mhm.
the assist kind of.
Yeah, but the cameo I think is a little more like it's a little more. I haven't 100% figured out, but it's a little more controlled in that like if you call in a cameo at a certain angle or at a certain time, it does a different move. So you can use it to break counter combos, stuff like that. All in all, like it's a pretty decent system, but I got annoyed by it a lot because I was playing the computer who would use it like almost like a cheat code. Like I'm like 4 hits into a combo that it somehow knows to break from a but yeah. So all in all, really fun time with Mortal Kombat, but I didn't like the invasions, which is kind of like the second single player mode, which is like there's 10 different types of currencies and a talisman, and like you have to like you know fight against is your opponent weak against acid, and so you need to charge your talisman with acid power, and just stuff like that. I thought was kind of, I don't know, it's not really for me.
It seemed like the right time to replace the crypt, but
Yeah,
it also didn't seem particularly popular.
it's a crypt replacement in that the towers are still there and they're still random, right? But this is supposed to be like kind of like almost like persistent game mode where you build your character up and you use different abilities and you have stats so that your punches do more lightning damage or whatever. But it just wasn't for me. I don't know. I didn't gain anything out of that mode. So um, all in all, like not really something I'd probably spend a ton of time in, but the campaign was a ton of fun. The towers are still fun. There's still some towers that just kick my ass. I don't know how people get past some of them. We were fighting like 5 characters back to back with the same health bar and stuff like
Jesus.
that. It can get tough. But
Did
yeah,
you see the Conan trailer recently?
yeah. I keep accidentally trying to pick him. They're like, buy it, buy it, buy it. The guest
Oh.
characters this year are absolutely great. I love Ghostface as a Mortal Kombat character. I think that's so fun.
It's so funny.
Yeah. The guy from Invincible, I can never remember. Omni Man, I think is his name.
Omni-Man, yeah.
Yeah, and then they've got Homelander, of course, which is kind of like a
Yeah.
funny like 1-2, and then they've got T1000, which is
Yeah.
also pretty fun. So, but yeah, all in all, it's a really good, reboot of the Mortal Kombat series. I know like it's kind of fallen out of favor, I think, with like fighting game fans, but just for me to like load something up and run through it and uppercut people to death, I have a real good time with it. So, but yeah, Mortal Kombat 1, and I don't know how it does seem weird that this is a full on reboot, I guess. But
I don't think it really is a full-on reboot
Yeah.
technically, because you do still have to know everything that happened in MK11 and MK10 and like the
Yeah.
state of the timeline for anything in MK1 to really make sense. But like if you're just coming into it and you haven't played it in a while and you're just like, oh, Liu Kang's riding now?
Yeah.
All right. Like you can just kind of jump
truly
into it and be like, whatever.
Crazy how dense this lore has gotten.
It's, oh my god, I love the character design. I love how the characters look. They look fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite things too is at the end, it does like a little thing where it's like choose who you want to be like your champion, kind of like your ultimate champion or whatever. I did like that. So like you play through the story kind of like as the campaign tells you, like, okay, this is a Sub-Zero section, so you play as Sub-Zero. This is whatever. So, but then at the end, it's like who's going to be the one who actually is versus the bad guys at the very end. So it lets you pick that.
Belina.
Well, she has a great story in the game too. I was
Yeah,
really happy with her story.
Yeah, I really liked what they did.
She
with
she falls in love with Tanya, which I thought was interesting.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
And the princesses get a lot more to work with, I think, in this one than in other ones. And so does Sindel. Sindel is kind of front and center for a lot of the story. But yeah, besides that, I think the story itself is more interested in just giving everybody kind of a little bit of a moment to shine, which is fun in a fighting game because you don't feel like you're sitting there waiting for like, your favorite character to come around. Pretty much hits on everybody. There's a couple downer characters or characters I just didn't really like playing. But you kind of you go through them pretty fast. You're only playing them for like maybe 10-15 minutes each, and then you're whipping on to the next one. So like when I was stuck with Ashra, I did not like her moveset. She's like the demon hunter who has the giant sword, but the sword hits for like next to nothing. But yeah, some of the newer characters I think didn't shine as much as some of the older ones who you kind of know a little bit about, and they get a little bit of like, oh man, I can't believe, you know, Ermac and Rain versus Reptile or something, you know what I mean? But yeah, all in all, decent price point, I thought too. I think I pay like $18 for that plus Chaos Reigns, which I haven't got into yet.
That's pretty cheap.
Yeah, especially since the game just came out last year.
Yeah, so 2023. Yeah.
Really?
Did it come?
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, we are in 2025 now.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Check. I think the sales is probably more of a it didn't sell great type sale, but yeah.
And didn't they say they're not going to be doing any more content like after this?
Technically a rumor, but yeah, they're probably ending DLC support.
Well, it's a pretty robust roster already. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't really know how many more characters I would even think of adding before it gets like, okay, there's too many, like for like a fighting game. But at least from what my experience, I was like, I felt like I pretty much every type of character I would want to play was kind of like in there. So
DLC packs is already a lot.
Once Conan hits, I think that's pretty much what I'd expect. I think probably add like 9 characters, which is a good amount. When you go to that character select screen, it's definitely like, oh man, this is bare. You know, it's like, oh, there's like variations of variations in there.
Oh, is it as big as Armageddon select screen?
Not yet. But you know, the other thing is the way it kind of hedges that is it's got the cameo fighters, right?
Oh,
so like it's almost like a second tier of characters who aren't quite in the game but are kind of in the game, and that's kind of how I think they kind of maybe a little bit get around it.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
All right. Sorry, Bones, what were you saying? Something?
My fighting game for the gen is Street Fighter, and I so much. Haven't even gone to the DLC yet.
They just announced Mai for that, didn't they? Mai Shiranui?
About to launch.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Very excited.
Shiranui. Anyway.
All right, Bones, what have you been playing? Or what did you play over the holidays, sorry?
Yeah. A bunch of stuff. I've been watching my wife play Dragon Age. I started Cyberpunk.
Oh, wow.
How many years after the rest of you?
I haven't started it at all, so...
But if I could choose one word to describe that game, it's overstimulating.
Ooh.
Yeah. From what I can see, it's like neon everywhere.
Yeah, and I have bad eyes, so I have the font size to maximum, so you have like giant text boxes over every random NPC showing what they're saying. So those are taking up the screen, and all the neon, and the game has 2 prologues with a big montage in the middle between them.
Oh god.
Very weird start. That was interesting. If I'm going to pick one game to talk about, I would probably go with Thousand Year Door, which I started the remake for, which my wife bought for me for our anniversary, the sweetheart.
Aww. So, as someone who's only played The Organic King and just like kind of started Thousand Year Door but kind of drifted away because got busy with other games, I'm really curious about the kind of structure of the game and how it all works. I didn't get very far into it.
So the idea with Thousand Year Door is that you start in the criminal underground area.
Yeah.
The Mario
Rouge
Port world with Piantas fully like murdering people, which is a lot of fun. You get robbed, and you have to find that guy and beat him up to take your money back.
Video games are great.
I know.
Delightful. But yeah, so Rogueport is kind of the hub area where you're gonna go out to. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I have a lot of background noise going right now. No headphones. I'm so sorry. Okay, I mean, I have tiny shitty little earbuds. I can try those, I guess. But anyway, I'm sorry. But yeah, so Rogueport is kind of like the hub area, and you go out to different zones and then keep coming back to Rogueport, and Rogueport changes over time, is the general structure.
Okay. Yeah. So have you finished the game, or how far are you into it now?
So there are 8 chapters, and I finished the first 2. I finished chapter 2 like right before December ended, and then my January has been truly fucking crazy. My wife got into the ER on New Year's Eve.
Oh no.
Oh jeez.
Yeah. And yeah, we spent like a week recovering just from that, and we had a new roommate moving in, and just yeah, it's been a really really busy time. But I will get back to Paper Mario soon. The next chapter is the professional wrestling chapter, so I'm really excited for that.
Oh, that one's my favorite. I love that chapter. It's so good.
But yeah, it's a really, as someone who's played smidgens of both Paper Mario 64 and Origami King before this one as well, like yeah, this one I think really really stands strong on the actual game design front.
Yeah, this is more traditional JRPG combat as opposed to whatever Origami King was doing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think it's like the right amount of depth for a turn-based RPG, and yet unless you're, well, Merve.
Yeah, I really need to finish Metaphor. Any other thoughts? I'm still only. We could talk about this later. Any other thoughts on this, Buns?
Yeah, really strong writing. I love the fact that the very first companion you get can her job is to tell you how much like health and whatever weaknesses and defenses all of your enemies have. That's such a good mechanic to introduce right out of the gate, and it's really easy to switch between party members, so you're not really punished for prioritizing her over the others. Yeah, I'm really really liking it. But yeah, we can move on.
Awesome. I'm definitely thinking of going back when I find the time. When I find the time is really the key word.
Yes, God, adulthood.
Yeah, growing up sucks.
Sure.
Quinley, what did you play over the holidays?
Oh god, I also played a lot of stuff. I got Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX. I got Path of Exile 2 because all my Tekken friends were playing it, but I'm probably not going to go back to that. I got Atlas, which is Phantasy Star Online if it were Jack and Daxter with boobs and butt sliders. I finally played Kentucky Route Zero and enjoyed that. I started Mary Skelter and then stopped. I've tried to play this game like 3 times, and every time I'm like, this is the time that I'm actually going to get through the game. This is also the game that I alluded to being uncomfortably horny, because in the way that only a PS Vita JRPG can be. But the game that I played that I want to talk about is, it's called Sorry We're Closed. And it's on Steam, and the best way I can describe it is Silent Hill if all the characters were from Party Monster.
Oh.
And, yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, if you have your computer in front of you, you can go to Steam and just take a look at it. It's incredible. The demon design and really just the character design in general. It takes the gayest pages from Kazuma Kaneko's Shin Megami Tensei Persona design book and just makes them gayer. It's very, very good. aesthetically, like it is truly a fantastic, like just a really visually fantastic game. The story is about Michelle, who is a convenience store clerk fixated on a breakup from 3 years ago, who ends up cursed by a demon named the Duchess. And the Duchess is determined to make Michelle their love slave, whether Michelle is done grieving the dissolution of her relationship or not. The curse that she gets grants her Michelle a third eye to perceive the unperceivable, which you can open and close by tapping the space bar. It allows her to see like some puzzle solutions. Like it's essentially, I'm trying to think of. I wish I could think of a better example, or an example of this from a better game, but this is the one that came up. You know how like in Silent Hill Origins you have that mechanic where you can like see patches of the overworld, kind of like, or
Like
the other world.
detective mode in Batman.
Yeah, I guess probably kind of, but it would be like if you press this. It would be like if you were playing Silent Hill in the other world and you like press the space bar and like just in a certain radius of you, you could see the real world for a second. It's like that. And they use that to like you can see different puzzle solutions, you can find specific items and things like that. But it's mostly used for combat where you reveal enemy weak points. When you open your third eye to reveal enemy weak points, you can only shoot them in their weak points. They will not take damage anywhere else. And every time you successfully shoot one, it moves to another part of their body. So if you shoot them consistently, like back to back, all in one, and you get a perfect combo, which normal enemies, it will kill them and fill your heartbreaker meter, which is a different weapon, and it's the only weapon that you can use to damage bosses. So regular enemies, if you use Heartbreaker, they only have the one heart to break, but bosses will usually have like 3 or 4, and the final boss against the Duchess, I think she has like 4 or 5. She has a lot. But the third eye is also how Michelle finds out that the majority of people in her orbit are some flavor of demon or angel, and suddenly needs a favor from her and her very special eye.
Is it just how it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, you get cursed, suddenly everybody wants to be your friend. But gameplay is really interesting. It's a combination of like third-person exploration of Silent Hill 1 and the first-person shooting combat of Killer 7 without it being a rail shooter, which is odd. When you basically do third-person exploration like for puzzle solving and stuff, and then when you hold right-click, you go into aiming mode, similar to Killer 7. And when you're in aiming mode, you can't move. And in Killer 7, since it's a rail shooter and you can really only move 2 different directions anyway, it doesn't really matter as much. But in this one, it's kind of a weird choice, since when you unclick, you can just move wherever you want. And in Killer 7, like, at least for the most part, enemies are only going to be coming at you from one direction. Whereas in this game, they're kind of coming from everywhere all around you. So when you're aiming and trying to shoot and you can't move, you can get surrounded very easily. I do think that the gameplay overall, like with combat, it's balanced well enough to mitigate most of the frustrations that come with that. But switching between the two, especially in combat when you're not in a boss fight situation, it still feels a little bit clunky.
Yeah, it sounds a little frantic.
Yeah, and it's again, the combat is balanced enough that it doesn't feel nearly as frantic as it could, but if it were any worse balanced, it would. I think they probably would have been better off either just sticking to a point of view, like picking a point of view and sticking with it, or just letting you aim while moving like you can in Fatal Frame, because Fatal Frame is very similar, like third-person exploration, and then you pull up the camera to quote-unquote shoot enemies, but you can move around while you hold the camera. It's slower than what you would be moving if you were in third person, but you can at least still move a little bit. And also, since you're not on rails, the choice to keep you still while aiming, it doesn't make a whole lot of intuitive sense other than to signal, hey, we also played Killer 7. And it's like, great, that's a great game. Good for you. Why is this here? But my favorite thing about Sorry We're Closed is it is largely a game about love and relationships, and it not only explores how love changes a person, but it also goes a step further to argue that one must change in order to love and be loved. Regrettably, the game is pretty short. It's maybe 5 to 6 hours, so I didn't get as much chance to spend with all of the different characters and their respective partners as I would have liked, but the game's writing makes very efficient use of that time that it does have, and it is not afraid to shy away from showing how people can unwittingly engage in self-sabotage due to their desperation to maintain a status quo in a relationship. And honestly, that last thing is kind of the main focus of the game, and I think especially with as unabashedly queer as this game is, I think that's a really, really good thing to focus on. It's very interesting, and I wish more games would focus on that aspect of relationships. But yeah, Sorry We're Closed. Heavily recommend.
That's really interesting. Especially because, like, I mean, we talk about this in, like, all forms of media. Like, stories about relationships tend to kind of either end when the relationship happens, or if it's a story about a relationship, it tends to be, like, either pretty surface level or so focused on conflict and how unhealthy the relationship is that they don't really tell stories about solving problems in relationships. So this is really neat to see. The other thing I'll say is I'm looking at the Steam page right now, and I think you have got this on the money that, like, it looks like what if a gay Zoomer made a PS2 horror game? Like, that's exactly what the aesthetic is.
It's so beautiful.
And I mean that as a compliment, by the way. Like,
That's an incredible compliment.
yeah, it looks super neat.
I took some screenshots. I'll put some of them in the Avocado Discord and in the chat so you can see. They are mwah, mwah, chef's kiss. Perfect stuff. It's also a very funny game. It's like, because it takes place in London, so it has that kind of goofy, like, charming, UK kind of humor. It's a very funny game, surprisingly, especially for how short it is. Like, they make very excellent use of the limited time that you have with it.
Speaking of queer games set in the UK, over the winter break, I played Misericord Volume 2, White Wool and Snow. So for those, I know I've talked about Misericord on the podcast before, but just to get a little bit of a recap for the listeners, it is a visual novel that's kind of Name of the Rose inspired. It's set in an abbey in northern England. A nun is found murdered in that abbey, and in order to investigate the murder, the abbey's superior calls upon its anchoress, Hedwig, who has been voluntarily locked in a cell for her entire adult life, as an anchoress is devoted to the study of scripture and associated theological writings. So Hedwig wants to stay in her cell. The superior pulls her out to investigate the murder because, obviously, being locked in the cell, she couldn't have committed the murder. And so she's investigating the conspiracy at the heart of it, and then various apparently supernatural goings-on, all while becoming accustomed to her freedom. That's kind of the first volume of this visual novel. That's got this really striking black and white visual style. The characters are drawn kind of anime-inspired, but in black and white, and the backgrounds are really harsh and dithered, like really old-school PC graphics. And it's got this like really kick-ass electro jazz soundtrack that kind of melds both like medieval tonality and sometimes organs, but also like jazz tonality. It's really neat. Anyway, so that was the first volume. Second volume maintains the same aesthetic, same kind of electro jazz soundtrack. But now in the second volume, Hedwig's investigation has reached roadblocks. She's seeing this mysterious beast that's wandering throughout the abbey that she, being religious, believes is an envoy from the devil. She's discovering a lot of secrets about her fellow nuns. And I mean secrets both in the literal like plot sense and also secrets in the wink wink nudge nudge sense. Because this is a game that's in large part about sex and sexuality. Not so much the first volume. First volume was more about like morality and whether moral relativism is a thing that you should believe in, etc. Volume 2 is a lot more about sexuality. And typically sexuality in games is approached either very like a surface level, or on the other end of the spectrum you have like porn games. And you know, nothing against porn games, it's just not how I choose to spend my time. This is a little different. Like, you know, there
that
is
feels like an attack on me specifically, Merv. Just saying.
Oh, like if I wanted to attack you, I'd insult porn games, and I wouldn't
Merv-
insult porn games. Yes.
Merv is as pro porn games as someone can be without being someone who plays porn games.
He's not.
That is true. It's like, this is not how I choose to spend my time, but I 100% support the continued existence of pornographic games. This I wouldn't say is a porn game. Like, there is nudity in it. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's not really intended to titillate. And so the way this approaches sexuality is really multifaceted, and it, you know, confronts both straight and queer sexuality. It has a really interesting treatment of paraphilia and how people who grew up in kind of the sheltered, or didn't grow up in it, but people who are used to kind of the sheltered environment of a cloister might not fully understand their paraphilias. It kind of confronts the idea of whether or not sexual orientation is like innate or whether it's situational. And because Hedwig, the main character, doesn't really understand, like, she obviously knows what sex is, but she doesn't really understand sexuality on any level other than, like, what's in the Bible. And so she has no conception of lesbianism, which leads to some interesting confrontations and conversations. And this story ends up playing with the idea of, like, perceived temptation and actual temptation in really interesting ways. Really satisfying story, really interesting treatment of the central mystery, which if I had a critique of the first volume of Misericord, nothing much really happens. The second volume, they both tackle the mystery and all this really neat thematic material. So highly recommended you play the Misericord series if you like visual novels.
So
You can not have possibly sold me on this better, except for the fact that it's PC only.
okay, so I do have a question on this. So you mentioned that, like, the way the main character Hedwig doesn't understand sexuality and doesn't understand lesbianism. Like, when is it like, how is the concept introduced to her? Like, is it just she just so happens to maybe have seen something she wasn't supposed to, or was it presented in such a way that like was there any space for plausible deniability, or was it presented in such a way that, like, you can only take it at face value? And, like, how did she kind of, like, react to that? Because honestly, and the reason I'm asking is this is what will likely sell me on the game.
Okay. I'm going to try to talk around spoiling it. It's more so, like, there's also, gender is also, I would say, like, not a huge part of this game, but gender is obviously kind of running in the background.
Okay.
And the way that Hedwig understands scripture and theological writings is that, you know, man laying with woman is just kind of what's the default. And man laying with man is what is explicitly prohibited. And there's really nothing about woman laying with woman.
It's like, this isn't in the manual. How do?
Yeah, this isn't in the manual. So it's just not something she's conceived of.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
when she either experiences or observes something, she doesn't understand it as something that's in the knowledge she has acquired through reading.
This is an outside context problem.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. Like it's something she hadn't conceived of before,
Yeah.
and then she kind of, as the story progresses, she can kind of categorize it. She's trying to figure out how to categorize it almost.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
is this like temptation? Is this similar to what the Bible says about men laying with men? Is it something else?
Like, what box does this go in? Like, I
Yeah,
can't
what
just
box
keep
does it
holding
goes
on
in?
to this.
How
I need
sinful
to pack
is it?
this away somewhere.
Yeah. How badly am I going to hell? Pretty much
Oh.
is how this is approached.
I think about like the first time that it truly clicked for me what gay actually was, and it was finding. You are all going to laugh at me, and I don't care. It was finding Gundam Wing / fan fiction when I was in the 5th grade. I was 10 years old, and I found a fan website.
Incredible.
And the website was for like duo hero fan fiction. It was called Spandex and Braids. I remember it in my mind's eye so clearly. But I remember finding it and like just reading through stuff and just being like, they're together. What? And then like once it clicked, like the first thing I thought was, I didn't even know this was an option. This is incredible. This is a thing you can do. Oh, I was overjoyed. But mostly because, I didn't grow up in a deeply religious household. So, but that's the reason I was asking for it. Okay. I think you have sold me on this game, even though is it really long? I guess just because visual novels I can kind of
It's like 12 hours. Like each volume is about 11 to 13 hours.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad.
We're
also,
not like in Clanad territory here, where it's like 35 hours of gigantic eyes.
okay. I would also, last thing, suggest if you like this, have you played We Know the Devil?
I have.
A friend of mine bought
Hell
it for
yeah.
me for Christmas, and so
Nice.
I think I should play it.
Yes, you
Love
should.
We Know the Devil.
Yes, you should play We Know the Devil, and I have not played Heaven Will Be Mine yet, but I've heard it's also very good.
I also haven't played
That was
one.
another thing that was purchased for me.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
I had perhaps the ideal way of experiencing We Know the Devil, which was as a like over online shared playthrough with my recently ex-girlfriend.
Ooh.
We were both gay trans. Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to say that. We were both gay trans people playing a game about being gay and trans inside.
Oh yeah.
It's just an incredible experience.
Mm-mm. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Sorry.
I was going to try to, like, we're talking about sexuality. I was going to try and make a pun on like Switch, but I could like formulate in my head.
Hey,
Nintendo
that's
Switch
okay,
2
sorry.
teaser. That happened this week. As this recording, we're recording this on January 18th, and I believe the teaser was out on the 16th. So this was like a 2.5 minute teaser that showed a Nintendo Switch 2 that looks a lot like a Nintendo Switch 1, just bigger and rounder. What I've been saying is that Nintendo Switch 1 is Kiki and Nintendo Switch 2 is Booba. That's an internet joke for you. So I don't know if there's much to talk about here, but I think we'd be remiss if we didn't discuss it for a couple of minutes. Personally, I'm happy it's just a bigger, beefier Switch.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. I'll be excited probably once I see games. I won't be
Yeah.
excited before then. So it's
Yeah,
there. It's there. It's out there now.
Yeah, I'm fine with it being a thin reveal. I just wish they'd done a little bit more game-wise. I
Yeah.
wish Mario Kart Showcase had been a little more overt, or they'd shown, one of their third-party ports or something like Skyrim last time.
Well, yeah, if you just told me that Mario that they showed was the one that we already have, I would have believed you. Like,
Yeah,
it didn't look
yeah.
that different.
the fact that that's possible to think is the problem, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I can assure you, there's a lot of subtle stuff that's very different. 24-player races, a lot of changes to character models and animation, all sorts of like, subtler things.
Yeah,
But-
new track,
but
new
yeah.
DK. Yeah.
But they really should have shown something really attention-getting.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's what the one in April is for.
I'm sure.
I do think it's kind of weird how, given what the reveal ended up being, I think it's kind of weird how cagey they were about this. Like, I don't know. Does anybody have any insight into why that was?
If I may, as someone that was very deep in this beat for too long, my insight is that they are so terrified of the Wii U happening again, and that's basically like that's it. That's the they're acting hyper cautiously because
But the Wii was well, I guess. Well, no, but the Wii was different enough. Like it was almost like a Switch precursor in a way, but
that's not my point. My point
okay.
is this is the riskiest generational transition they've had since Wii to Wii U.
Oh, okay.
And so they've been sitting on their hands for as long as they could possibly get away with, because they want to save as much stock as much as possible, as many games as much as possible. Just wait as long as they could get away with, so that they can do everything in their power to prevent a poor generational transition.
Is there any reason they didn't just reframe it as, no, we're not going from the Wii to the Wii U. We are going from the Nintendo DS to the 3DS, which was a great transition, and everybody was very happy about that. It was their fastest selling console.
I mean, not initially, right? Like 3DS out of the gate was not doing great, and
No,
then
the
when
3DS
they dropped the price,
they had to slash the price by $80.
Yeah, but then it ended up being one of their best selling consoles of all time. So
yeah, turns out the price point matters a lot.
Yes, yeah, 75 million is okay by Nintendo standards, but but yeah, I think they were just playing it hyper conservatively, hyper cautiously, and it was frustrating. It was frustrating to wait so long, right? And to get so little when we actually got the reveal.
Yeah, like I'm more excited for all the game announcements that were previously delayed because we were waiting on this one.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, obviously I'm just relieved that the hard part of this is over.
And we can wait. We can like put a pin in this until April, when the game announcements start coming, and then the big debates will start.
Yeah. We truly have so little information right now. We still cartridges and digital, but no further detail on back compat. That is crazy.
The on button is slightly larger.
Oh yeah. All right. Moving on from the Nintendo Switch 2 announcement.
I think
Sorry, go ahead.
Something else.
No, he didn't want to spend any longer on it. It's fine.
Yeah, we can talk more about games that are like speculated later in the podcast. Moving on to talk about predictions. So every year at the first podcast we record in the year, we make predictions for the year ahead. But to hold ourselves accountable for our terrible speculation, we have to go back and review the predictions we made last year. So last year, the podcast at the start of the year was me, Kappa, and Captain Blasto. And I'm just going to evaluate all our predictions. So we made 2 realistic predictions and 1 wacky out there prediction. And I'm just going to go down the list and judge whether our predictions are accurate. So Captain Blasto's first realistic prediction was that Double Fine will announce something in 2024 that will make him regret selling his Xbox and want to build a gaming PC. And that's false, because Double Fine did not announce a new game in 2024.
Nope.
Maybe this year.
I mean,
they did
at this
have
point,
a sale.
But also, you won't have to worry about not having an Xbox anymore.
because everything's an Xbox.
Thing's an Xbox. Switch 2
Everything's
is an
Xbox
Xbox.
now. Your phone's an Xbox. Your microwave might be an Xbox.
It's just that factory meme. I guess we're making Xboxes now.
It's great. Kappa's first prediction, which was realistic, was that Larian would announce their follow-up to Baldur's Gate 3 in 2024, and it would be a new game in the Divinity series. And that could turn out to be true one day, but it's false because that didn't happen in 2024. Sorry, Kappa.
Just said they're going dark until it's ready to show.
We're just gonna keep patching Baldur's Gate 3.
All right. My first prediction, which is realistic, was that the new Nintendo console would be a straightforward, backwards compatible successor to the Switch with very few additional gimmicks. And it turned out to be true in 2025, but it doesn't count because the Switch 2 wasn't officially announced until 2025.
Also, that was a pretty fucking easy prediction to make by that point. No.
Yeah. So, like, we made this in January 2024, but yeah. Captain Blasto's second prediction, the realistic one. More AAA games will come to the Mac in 2024. Somewhat true is how I rank it. Death Stranding came to Mac OS, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and Frostpunk 2. But for the most part, what was coming to Mac in 2024 was indies.
Cyberpunk got announced, but hasn't actually released yet.
Oh, I didn't know Cyberpunk got announced for Mac.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then Kappa's second prediction, which was realistic, none of the announced Marvel video games will come out this year. And announced is the key word here because this turned out to be 100% true. So, way to go, Kappa.
Yay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, so just to go over how this is true, what had been announced at that point when we recorded in January 2024 was Wolverine, Blade, Marvel 1943, the other Black Panther game, and the Iron Man game. Those are all still in development.
Yeah, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, most of those are still quite a while away.
Yeah, but you might be asking me, hey, wait, didn't 2 Marvel video games come out last year? Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection and Marvel Rivals. And that is true. They both came out in 2024, but they were announced after January 2024. They were announced in the spring and then came out later that year.
And Rivals, if they did announce Rivals, they'd be like, oh yeah, that's coming out. Because it's just basically an Overwatch clone. There's not much to that. That's, you got to figure anything out.
I'm sure it was still a lot of work.
Oh, yeah. It took a lot of work to build.
Off.
Launching with
It's
33
really well.
characters, and it's doing just obscenely well.
Yeah, they released like 8 so far. I think all my Tekken friends play this, and they're trying to get me to play it, and I refuse. But they just announced Mr. Fantastic or something.
Yeah, they dropped the whole Fantastic Four.
Oh shit!
They dropped all 4.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
I got confused for a second because I was like, wait, isn't Mr. Fantastic DC? And then I remembered there are 2 different characters named like Mr. Fantastic or whatever.
Yeah, wait till you get into like Captain and Mr. Marvel.
Oh,
Jesus.
no.
Then
Let's
really
not go down that
I'm
road.
confused.
Oh, man. So my second prediction, which was realistic, there will be more video game layoffs in 2024 than in 2023. And that unfortunately turned out to be true.
Yeah. A unfortunately easy guess to make.
Yeah.
Regrettable. Very, very true.
Layoffs may be slowing, but Survive Till 25 has now turned into Persist Till 26. And I'm guessing by this time next year will be in 2027 we'll be in heaven or something like that. So
They're like, we're not even trying to survive. We are merely trying to persist. Jesus, that's bleak.
Exists.
And now we get into the long shot predictions. I don't know why this like Captain Blasto thought this was a long shot. He said that the Switch's successor would be announced in 2024, but wouldn't come out until spring 2025. And that's false because it wasn't announced officially until 2025. That should be a realistic prediction. And Blasto should
that was a very realistic prediction. They delayed it.
So Kappa's third prediction, which was his long shot, Game Pass on Switch, that didn't happen.
I was reading that is the realm of fantasy. Like literally the first thing I thought, I'm like, why would you think that? Why would you think that was
my prediction this year?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna have some fun ones this year, I'm sure. My third prediction, which is for no one but myself, because I'm an idiot. I saw that Mediavision would release both the new Digimon story game and Chronicles 5 in 2024. And one of them would be the new big launch RPG for the Nintendo Switch 2, which has a lot of predictions baked into it because it implicitly predicts that Nintendo Switch 2 would come out in 2024. All of that, none of that was even remotely close to happening. I think I wrote the show notes, "Stop dreaming, you stupid weeb."
I was very
literally
delighted.
what you wrote. Yeah.
I think it's justified to write that about myself because it's a stupid prediction. But
I know nothing about either though, so I guess. I do need to play Valkyria Chronicles at some point.
Yeah, I started playing like the demo for 4, and then I just ran out of time to play it, so I never went back to it. I should just become a Valkyria Chronicles sicko. Be one of those people who's like, was it 2 or 3 that never made it over here? Be one of those people who like campaigns to get Sega to bring the one that didn't come over here.
Oh God.
Yeah. Look, if they can bring Sakura Wars over here, they can bring the Lost Valkyria.
You know what?
Chronicles
That's
game.
entirely fair. That is entirely fair.
And now it's time for us to make our predictions that we can make fun of in 2026.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So we'll each make 2 realistic predictions and 1 long shot. I'm going to start with my first realistic prediction. Ubisoft will either be sold or go private this year.
Yeah.
Beat me to it. Literally, I had it on my list, and I was like, shit.
Well, which one? So maybe one goes sold and then the other predicts private.
I already picked other ones.
Oh, okay.
So we know the Guillemets have explored the possibility of like taking it private. We know they've been in talks with Tencent to create a new venture that I guess would buy some of the existing Ubisoft IP. It's not really clear what
and
would
then
happen
just
there.
leave the rest of the whole enterprise behind to crumble into dust. That's truly
Very
lovable.
THQ Nordic of them.
That would be incredibly evil and horrifying. That would be so bad.
Yeah. I guess they'd keep like what? Ass Creed, Far Cry.
I love that
What
we
else?
just decided we're calling
Tom
it Ass
Clancy.
Creed.
Yeah.
I always call it Ass Creed.
Yes.
Yeah, the creed of the I almost said the creed of the anus, the creed of the ass. I really need to watch my words. Bone, since I sniped you, what's your first realistic prediction?
Of course. I had such a good time doing the predictions episodes the last 2 times I did this. Hold on. Where's my... I have a notes open for this. Ah, shit. Okay, my first prediction. My first prediction is Xbox Game Studios will publish at least as many games for PS5 and Switch 2 as Sony and Nintendo, respectively. And I want to specify for Switch, I do mean specifically Switch 2. So Switch 1 games that are backwards compatible on Switch 2 don't count, because we know there will probably be a few more of those. But in terms of specific new first-party exclusive games, I think there's gonna be a lot of Xbox ports coming this year.
I think 100%. I think you're right on PlayStation. I'm a little skeptical of Nintendo because it is a launch year for a new console, and there are probably going to be quite a few first-party Nintendo games. But Sony's been really slow at getting games out the door. I think they had 2 first-party games last year, right? They had Concord and Astrobot.
And Lego Horizon.
Oh yeah, Lego Horizon. Was that developed internally at a
Yeah.
PlayStation studio?
Yeah, it had a support studio, but Guerrilla officially, I think, made it.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess call it happy. But yeah, Sony traditionally is incredibly slow, and this year they have Death Stranding, Ghost of Yotei, and Marathon announced. But I would bet at least
Death Stranding 2
3 of
is not
those-
even first party, right?
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, Death Stranding is it fully doesn't count as an exclusive anymore.
Yeah, and
So,
and
never mind
now
that.
Koji Pro owns the IP now,
Yep.
so they can do whatever they want with it.
This one's on Xbox. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think that one's pretty likely. I expect Switch 2 logos at the Xbox show next week. Fully.
Yeah, I mean that's the strategy now. Kappa, what's your first realistic prediction?
It's Sony related as well. I think that reeling from the failures of live service disasters, they canceled 2 more I think that they're going to begin to license out their IPs to third parties, and you're going to start to see a lot more of Uncharted by random third-party studio just to keep their IPs fresh because they're not being able to deliver on theirs in time.
Interesting. I can see that happening. I don't know if they'll do it with the Golden Geese, but a couple of their like less, like, let's say B tier IPs, I can see them doing that for sure.
I think it's gonna be big ones. I think you're gonna get your God of Wars, your Uncharted. I think they want to keep the IP fresh, and I don't think they have the time to turn it around anymore.
It's an intriguing one.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, they how much money do you think they lost on a God of War live service that's not ever going to come out now? They canceled that other live service game. Marathon's going to be a gigantic flop. I mean, there's Concord was maybe the most disastrous video game in history. They've got to get stuff out the door, and they don't have the studios to do it unless they start buying studios, which has been a disaster for them so far.
That's a good point. I mean, I don't know. I feel like they've been trying to preserve their IP in other ways, but like with the live action Last of Us adaptation and stuff. And isn't there a God of War adaptation in the works
just canceled?
too?
It just got rebooted.
Oh shit!
Yeah, no, they did. Yeah, they're starting from scratch, so it's kind of like canceling it.
Oh fuck!
Same thing happened with Horizon, except they're switching from a TV show to a movie.
Mwah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So not recreating the Last of Us show's success anytime soon.
Sony stay dog shit at managing the IP. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I think they're going to start looking around and seeing who could possibly be a shepherd to some of the IP. I mean, it's worked before. It worked for Nintendo with Rabbids Mario. So you know, there's if you don't have the golden geese laying eggs, they're just sitting there being geese. Eventually, you want them to do something with them. So I think that's kind of the phase that Sony's in right now. They've got all these properties that, how far out do you think we are from another Uncharted? I mean, years, right? So
I mean, does anybody even want another one of those?
There are rumors that there would be one starring Elena and Nate's daughter. But
they were also trying to make a Sully prequel at one point.
Oh wow.
They've been Uncharted's been a mess for a lot of reasons, but go ahead, Merv.
I like Sully. I don't want to play a Sully prequel.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what I'm there for, you know what
No,
I mean?
it's not an interesting enough idea. I think the good, like, with the rumors that Naughty Dog is kind of micromanaging the franchise from afar, I think the best compromise would have been like a Chloe game, just more Chloe games.
I definitely think they want more games. I mean, Horizon's hurt now that the live action, or the not live action, the whatchamacallit, studio reboot happened. So I don't know that what does Sony have coming out this year 100%?
I mean, nothing's ever 100%.
Yeah, I mean,
But like with a date attached to it, I guess.
oh, nothing.
Okay, yeah, no,
Nothing,
Day,
but Ghost of Yote's probably.
Oh yeah, Ghost of
Ghost
Yote.
of Yote, I doubt will get delayed. Sucker Punch is relatively steady.
But yeah, that's my
right.
prediction. I think they're going to start tapping other studios to work their IP for them.
All right, Quinley, what's your first realistic prediction?
My first realistic prediction is I expect an announcement for an expanded re-release of Metaphor ReFantasio that will have Katarina as a party member, add a Bond/social link for Dell, add more candidates, and expand the roles of the ones already present, and one of those candidates will be a Mary Sue pseudo-love interest that no one asked for, but will nonetheless play an outsized role in the plot somehow.
The most realistic prediction.
But yeah. That's my
Okay,
first.
Metaphor ReFantasio Royal happening in 2025. Here,
They
heard it
can't
here first.
Royal. They can't. Persona 5 already took Royal. Regal. Metaphor ReFantasio Regal.
Regal.
Metaphor ReFantasio.
Metaphor Phenomenazio.
Metaphor
Like, it's ReFantasio. They could just change it to Fantasio. Okay. Enough bad VCR jokes. So, my second realistic prediction is also Atlas related. Persona 6 will be announced at Summer Game Fest for a 2026 release.
Yeah, I think that's very likely.
Yeah.
I think it'll be announced somewhere, um, but we shall see where.
Yeah, I think that's enough time for Atlas to build hype.
Mhm.
It'll be a little bit after the wave of discussion on Metaphor ReFantasio. Unless they announce Metaphor ReFantasio, in which case, who knows? All bets are off.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
don't know.
and
I could see them like doing a teaser for Persona 6 and then like right after it's like, oh yeah, by the way, we're re-releasing this game.
yeah, yeah, I think that'd be manageable. I also think I think they're hoping that Persona 6 has a shorter cycle to launch than Persona 5 did. I think that's the goal.
Jesus, it was
Because
so
Persona
Yeah.
5 was atrocious.
It's like, oh look, a chair with a shackle on it, and then what?
In
4
2013.
years went by.
Yeah. Bones, what's your second realistic prediction?
Um, my second realistic prediction was that both Marathon and GTA 6 will be delayed.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
That's a really cheap one, but I mean it is what it is. um, I
I would actually put more money on Marathon being delayed than GTA 6.
Yeah, same.
yeah, I mean
Marathon, they need to get exactly right. Otherwise, it's the end of Bungie.
for sure. Yeah, Schreier's back in the GTA delay, so
Yeah,
yeah, that's as
that's
close
good.
as you can get as good info these days.
For sure.
But
Kappa, what's your second realistic prediction?
I think that Switch 2 initially is a flop. I don't think it sells very well.
Yeah, I'm going to say you're wrong on
The
this.
3DS
All
thing.
right.
I think that's insane.
I don't
Yeah.
think it sells very well. I think
Mm,
people are happy with their Switches. I don't think that they've announced enough to really get people who don't have a Switch into the Switch market. I think it's going to be kind of a very slow launch.
I think
We'll
that's
see.
a wild prediction to make before we've seen the actual like direct in April.
Yeah.
That is what I will say.
Oh, like, I don't think it's going to
prediction.
sell as.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean,
to do
yeah.
just sit here and go, the studio's going to get sold. That's boring.
Well, I mean,
I mean, if this were your long shot prediction, I'd be like, oh, hell yeah, we're getting
No,
crazy.
well, who won last year, right? So
yeah, fair.
I did.
well, on that Larry one, I think I get a half on that, but I got.
You
at
don't
least
get
one.
anything
In
on it.
what
They didn't
way?
announce anything. That's okay. No, I will say this. I don't think it's going to sell as well as the Switch 1 Lifetime. Like, it'll definitely sell significantly less, is what I will say.
Sure. Yeah, it will be hard to match Switch 1 just in any universe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the only reason it'll do better than the Switch 1 out of the gate is because Switch 1 was extremely supply constrained.
Yeah.
Whereas Switch 2 won't be, but I think it's going to taper off faster than the Switch 1 did.
Yeah. And it won't have that 2020 boost that Switch got that helped extend its life a lot. I think Switch 2 will definitely be successful enough, but yeah.
Unless avian flu becomes a big thing, in which
Shut
case,
the
yeah,
fuck
all bets
up.
are off. Switch 2 is going to the
Pandemic
moon.
2, Electric Boogaloo.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
to keep my cats alive. Great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get a banger Animal Crossing out of it. Quinley, what's your second realistic prediction?
Okay, so this one, I think I'm hoping this one can like maybe open up the conversation a little bit. It is somewhat related to the Kappa's prediction. I predict that this year and going forward, we will see a trend away from live service games. We live in a post-Concord world, but another big indicator that my partner South brought up is that the current reception from the beta for Deadlock, Valve's new live service FPS, has apparently been pretty muted. Current consensus is that it is very well made, it's very polished, but that's all it is. It's good, but it's likely not good enough to pull players away from the live service that they've already committed to. And honestly, if Valve can't, a company that has by this point almost bottomless goodwill, and a really consistent track record for critically acclaimed games. Like, if they can't get a mega hit live service game, I don't know that anybody else can at this point.
Yeah. I think there'll definitely be some ships steering away from the iceberg, a la the Sony cancellations that happened right before this recording. But capitals aren't smart enough. Anthem was 6 years ago, guys.
Jesus Christ.
Anthem was 6 years ago, and Anthem should have been the final word on live services. Concord shouldn't have ever happened.
God, Anthem. I forgot about Anthem. Christ.
Yeah.
Or Avengers the year after that. Like, come on.
See, with Anthem, at least, like, you could point to pretty bad development woes.
Sure.
But
they made it in like 16 months or something.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Sure.
But at this point, it's more than just development woes. It's really hard to make a live service game. It's really expensive to maintain them. And a lot of players come to the market thinking that they're going to make the new Destiny or the new Fortnite or what have you.
Yeah, the next one's going to be the new
that.
Helldivers or the new Marvel Rivals. But yeah, you can't count on that. It's not realistic. Marvel Rivals is very lucky it pulled off what it did, and it had to rely on a lot of things coming together really well. And Helldivers is already off a cliff.
Yeah, Marvel Rivals would have never been a success if Overwatch 2 hadn't kind of cratered brand goodwill.
Yeah.
All right, now we're getting spicy. We're getting to the long shot predictions. And my long shot prediction is, it's what I'm going to predict every year until it comes true. I'm going to manifest this. Betavision's going to put out either the new Digimon story game or Valkyria Chronicles 5 this year. Both will eventually come to Nintendo Switch 2, one within 3 months of the console's launch.
Dig those heels in, yes.
I'm digging my heels in. Betavision has put out at least one game a year.
Now you'll be up to your shoulders, all right?
It's iconic.
Yeah, like I am drowning in the quicksand of my predictions right now. Mediavision has put out at least one game a year every year for 2005 to 2018. They announced the 100-line Last Defense Academy coming out on April 24th of this year, but that's a co-production with 2Kyo Games, and as a 150-person studio, they have to have something else cooking. It's got to be either Valkyria Chronicles 5 or the new Digimon story game. We know that the new Digimon story has been worked on. They just never confirmed the studio. I'm guessing it's Mediavision again. Let's get that game out. Let's make that happen.
I believe in you, my friend.
I believe in me, and I believe in Mediavision. We are going to manifest this in 2025. Watch it come out on like January 2nd, 2026, just to mess with me.
That'd be
It's
so
like
funny.
Game of the Year too.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. That'd be so funny.
Well, it's Game of the Year 2026 right there.
Yeah.
Bones, what's your long shot?
Okay. There's a potential counter argument here, but I have my own counter argument ready. My long shot is that Indiana Jones will keep its momentum so strongly that it will be a GOTY nominee in the already packed 2025.
You know what?
Really believe-
If it weren't for the fact that people have really short memories, I would be 100% behind this.
I think its multi-plat release will help.
Oh yeah, that is true. It is coming to PS5 this year.
in like May or something, and Switch was probably.
I've only heard more and more people start picking that game up. So I don't know. I don't think that's as long a shot as
Well, the thing is that's barely ever happened in the history of the Game Awards, is why it's a long shot.
Yeah,
My point, like that happened with Smash, and that's basically it. Not even Cyberpunk pulled that off. Like, it's really hard to last in the cultural discourse for that long. But
I think Cyberpunk's launch also kind of dampened that.
Sure, yeah, and the biggest fixes for that game didn't happen until 2022. But you know what I mean.
I think the other thing about Indiana Jones is that its marketing really, really misrepresented what the game
Did
was.
not sell the game well enough at all.
Like,
Sure.
I think actually that the way they marketed it probably sold the game because people wanted the action. But when you actually play it, it is not that. It is a full-on stealth game.
Yeah.
Like,
trailers
it is
got some
Thief
action,
with
got some-
Indiana Jones in it.
Where you
It-
occasionally whack things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is Thief where you give people concussions. That's what it is.
But that's-
And it's a really good version of that. Like,
And that tells me so much about the gap between the trailers for a game and the like promotional interviews for a game.
yeah,
Because
like
the
this
guys
is,
were saying like, "Hey, we're the fucking Riddick guys, and we're doing more of that. That's the goal here." But no one noticed that until the game launched.
yeah, because the trailers were all like, "Here's Indy with his whip and his revolver." I have fired that revolver a grand total of once. I headshot a dude because it was easier than trying to stealth around him, and then I
Which is
made
very
my
true to
daring
the
escape.
movie, right?
Yeah, and that is a thing Indiana Jones would do, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I can't stealth around this guy. Boom, headshot that Nazi.
Our collective friend and colleague and my best friend Wolfman Jew, like he had completely written off Indiana Jones. He doesn't like the franchise, and it looked like a dumb action game. And then he found out it was very Hitman and Semi, and he was like, he's loving it.
Yeah, he was
it's
gushing about it on Thursday.
Yeah, he was.
super imsimmy. Like, I think it lacks the mechanical depth of some other immersive sims, but the level design and the approach to like flexibility of which routes you take, like how you have to puzzle out the world around you, it's super imsimmy in that regard. So like, yeah, not what they showed off, and I think as more people, especially in games criticism circles, find out what this game actually is, the momentum is growing for it. So yeah, I can see this happening. Kappa, what's your long shot?
Not just Game Pass on Switch, Game Pass everywhere. I think it's going to be on PlayStation. I think it's going to be on Switch. I think it's everywhere.
I think it'll be literally everywhere except PlayStation and Switch.
I think it's gonna be
like
on
there's gonna be Game Pass on your like Samsung smart fridge.
Yep.
And there's gonna be like
Because everything's an Xbox.
Yep.
no
I think that's
like
what they're going for with the marketing, and I think that they're going to have to show their idea sooner rather than later about what that means. And I think this is the time you start putting it on everything, and then
if I can make an addendum to that prediction, I think there's going to be like a new line of like Xbox or like Microsoft branded gaming handhelds a la ROG
Yeah.
Ally.
absolutely,
And they're all gonna be like Game Pass and streaming machines.
yeah.
I concur with that.
Because
Yeah.
the streaming is pretty much there. I mean, I've been using it every now and then, but lately I've been using it more and more, and it's pretty much there. You can get it on just regular cell networks now to be decent enough to play games. So, I mean, you're not going to play a FPS with it, but it's pretty good for what it is. So I think that's going to just kind of keep continuing.
Yeah, I would totally play like a turn-based JRPG
Yeah.
like on 5G if I didn't have to pay for data. So yeah. Quinley, what's your long shot?
The only note I have for my long shot, because I wrote this last night and then I didn't get a chance to elaborate on it, so it just says, "By God, is that Silk Song's music?"
Okay, so Silk Song is gonna have a great soundtrack.
No, that it's
Yeah,
a
no.
wrestling thing. Never
It's a-
mind. It's
Yeah,
Silk
the
Song.
idea that
Silk Song will
is
come
going
out.
to suddenly.
Silk Song will come out. That's their long shot.
Yeah, I mean,
No, yes, because it's not going to. I'm pretty sure they're just laundering money. Like, I don't know what they're doing. What are they doing? They won't say.
I think they're taking as long as they need to because they have the money to afford to.
Well, and you know what? That's fine. It is the radio silence, though, is wild to me. Like, that's the part that's.
What
I
does
mean,
the
if you
trailer
just
say?
played Kentucky Route Zero, it was the same kind of thing between acts of that game.
Was it? I didn't.
Yeah.
I just played it all at once. So
They went like 3 years without talking about the game at one point. It was ridiculous.
And it was
Well,
the
yeah,
last
but,
one
like
that took
Silk
the
Song
longest
won't
too.
even. They won't even release like a statement saying, "Yes, we are working on the game still."
Well, obviously
they're too busy working on the game to
You
release
don't need to say that.
D-
I've been trying to
Are
forward
they though?
something for 6 years.
I don't know.
I don't know. Sometimes you just gotta hunker down and do the fucking work until you're done, man.
I don't know. I feel like it's gonna come out and it's gonna be like that thing with Cooking Mama Cookstar, where it's like people buy it and it's like, why is this running so hot? What the fuck? Is it mining?
I think
Turns out that it actually wasn't mining, but it was doing something else wacky, if I remember correctly.
Was it? Well,
I mean, it'd be funny if. Can you imagine if Hollow Knight Silksong were mining like Dogecoin or some bullshit like that?
no, it comes with its own bespoke meme coin.
I'll
Like
say,
Silk Coin or something.
Yeah.
I think
And it's actually just like tokens that you can use on Silk Road. It's like tunneling into Tor while you're playing.
slightly less depressing for a second. I think the biggest worst case scenario, real worst case scenario for Silk Song is that it's like Sports Story, where it's kind of over ambitious and broke.
Oh god, don't put that evil out into the world. I don't even want to play Hollow Knight, and I don't want you to put that evil out into the world.
As well, the big Metroidvania fans in the world, I don't like saying it, but I have to acknowledge it. I'm sorry for triggering your Sports Story trauma specifically.
Yeah, it's not as traumatic as some other disappointments that we might discuss at a later date. Moving on to what we're looking forward to. Let's bring back the positivity. What are we looking forward to this year? What games that are coming up do we think are going to hit real big? I'll give you one right off the bat. As a huge... there's a hand raised. Oh, wow. We are doing like...
Can you
like
take a break? I need to go to the bathroom.
All right. We will take a short break, and when we come back, we are going to talk about what we have been anticipating. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Avocado Games Cast. During the break, I went to lift up my thermos full of tea, and I lifted it up by the lid, and then my lid wasn't screwed on tight, so it just dropped the bottle back on my desk, and then tea just splashed everywhere. So I'm going to have tea-stained walls, probably. I spilled my tea, and now we are going to spill the tea about the games that we are anticipating in 2025.
Classic Merve segue.
Solid.
And the first little drop of tea I'm going to spill is that I'm looking forward to Like a Dragon Pirate Yachts in Hawaii. I don't think it really counts as tea. Anyone could have anticipated me saying that. I'm a Like a Dragon stan. I like pretty much every Like a Dragon game that RGG puts out. I love the Honolulu map in Infinite Wealth. And I like pirates. So this is pretty much just tailor-made for me. It also has ship combat, and wouldn't it be wild if this game had like better ship combat than Skull and Bones?
Ship combat?
There is ship.
Yeah, there's ship combat in this.
God, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
I
going
think that's
all out.
almost a guarantee that it's going to be better than Skull and Bones. And that ship combat was rough, and that's the whole point of the game. And it's the one thing that people are like, well, there's no way they're going to miss on that. And they did.
Weren't they trying to like make a MOBA style combat with lanes for a while,
Yeah.
and they gave up on that?
Yeah, it was doing like a 5v5 ship thing, and people were like, "What?" And yeah, that was like reboot 3 though, so who knows?
As a newer Like a Dragon stan who skipped out on Judgment and Lost Judgment and the man who erased his name, I'm so fucking excited for Pirate Yakuza. It looks so good. And not
It
just,
looks
like,
extremely stupid, but in the best way possible,
Exactly.
which is exactly my vibe.
I love that Sega made a point of saying none of this is going to be retcon.
Yeah, this is all canon. For a second, I thought you were going to say none of this is in the
Pirate
Bible, and
canon.
I was like, yeah, that's true. Maybe Macho will discover lesbianism. Kappa,
Hell yeah.
what are you anticipating?
Oh, I just wrote down ones that I know at least have a date, because 2025 so far is pretty like light on actual like here's. So the three I've got, Civ 7. I mean, actually I was thinking about this too. When the Civs come out, usually it needs an expansion or two to kind of warm up, So
Yeah.
I think at launch, maybe I'm not as, primed for this one as I think I will be by the time it kind of wraps up its run. But that one's kind of like a bottom three for me. Two, Avowed. This one's kind of been like I've been up and down on, but lately stuff on it has been looking really good. So
Mushroom
more
Bear.
excited.
Really, really strong previews. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think my third one, I'm kind of going back and forth on this one, but Split Fiction.
Oh, yeah. That looks really neat. Like,
yeah,
essentially, all they have to do is it's like something as if it's even half as good as It Takes Two was to play. If they improve the script
Yeah.
a little bit,
that's my
I think I'm gonna have a great time with it.
that's my
such a big-
pause moment is the scripting and the writing and everything else with it, because It Takes Two was very fun to play, and then everything else about it was like, okay, please shut up and just let me play this game. So
That's a big Mars hater. But
Yeah.
I'm willing to give Split Fiction a chance. Because
Yeah.
it looks less insufferable than It Takes Two.
It looks like it could be a good time, and I know that Hazelight has gameplay down. Like,
Yeah.
that's what A Way Out and It Takes Two convinced me of. These guys know how to make gameplay. Compelling narrative. But this looks like it has the potential to be, at the very least, less irritating. So, and what they showed off in the trailer looked incredible.
I
So
thought so too. Yeah.
I'm really pumped to see
Yeah,
this.
that was a solid trailer, for sure.
Quinley, what are you looking forward to?
So, I mean, I've got a few things. I'll just run through them real quick. Dead Letter Department, Mail's Haunted. That's the game. The mail is haunted. Atelier Yumiya, Alchemist of Memories in the Envisioned Land, which was out in March. Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Actually, on Atelier, is that a new trilogy that's starting up, or
That's a new
what's going on with
trilogy. New trilogy.
Okay, neat.
Emphasis on a different body part. Ryza was thighs. This one appears to be titties. So, all right. Hey, it worked last time. Also, she's got a gun. So that's cool.
Titties and guns. What is this? Like
Hey.
2003?
Yes. The aughts revival is in full swing, Merv.
God,
Like-
tell me about it.
Like Kappa, Avowed, the new Pokemon Legends, Wanderstop, Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, Pathologic 3, and I suspect this is gonna get delayed, but we'll talk about it later. Fantasy Life I, the Girl Who Steals Time.
Okay.
So hang on.
Oh,
So
yes, bro.
I wanted to ask about has your like hype meter been going up with it every time they've been because they've been kind of slow rolling some of the announcements about it for a game that's like, but every time I see something, it actually looks better, and
Yeah.
I've been
Not
kinda-
like it's not like a huge jump, but every time because at first I'm like, oh, that looks weird. That'll be interesting.
same.
Then I see something else and I'm like, oh, it's like the next one, and ended up being like, oh, this is in first person. This is a first person multiple party. Okay. And then like the next one I think was the one from Summer Games Fest, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Yeah, okay. And then, but the most recent thing that has made it a day one for me, like, and this is typically always a good thing when I hear a creator say this, whenever they say something like, this, I've never been prouder of a game we've made,
Yeah.
not this is going to be really good or this is the best game we've
we're
ever
talking
made.
sales or stuff like that.
When they specifically say, I'm really proud of this game,
Mhm.
that like it's always going to be good. So I'm like,
So,
okay,
yeah.
you know what? All right, I'm gonna
I'm-
take a chance on it.
I'm kind of like meh on that game world, to be honest with you. The Pillars world, I think it's like, I don't know. It kind of feels like mishmash. You have like 5 other games, but so I think that was kind of my initial.
I
Yeah.
know I played it. I know I played the first one. I know I beat it. I could not tell you what happens in it.
Yeah.
I don't think this has anything to do with the actual story of Pillars of Eternity, though,
I don't
because
think
it's
so
a
either,
different
yeah.
it's a different region and everything. So I don't think you really need to know anything about Pillars of Eternity. Like, I don't know, maybe brush up on the metaphysics, the gods, or whatever. But aside from that, like, who gives a shit?
I also wanted to touch on Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I'm very eager to see what a French take on a JRPG is, because it seems like it's super like almost Final Fantasy inspired.
Wait, you haven't played Off?
I have not played Off. I don't know what Off is.
Oh, look up Off. It's also a French take on a JRPG. It's weird.
Like, is it literally just the word OFF?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Also,
cool.
it's about baseball, kind of, from what I understand.
Yeah, Off is getting a re-release this year.
Oh shit! Really?
It's
Where-
Switch.
what on Switch?
Yeah, Switch
Oh
and
hell
Steam.
yeah!
Yeah.
Good for them.
Cool. Might check out this game that I heard of just now. Bones, what are you looking forward to?
Oh boy. Okay. I think I'm gonna do a quick rattle off like Quinley, and then we'll see where things go from there. In terms of what gets people's attention. Coffee Talk Tokyo.
Oh, yeah?
I adore both of the Coffee Talk games so deeply. I'm such a huge fan of them. So I will buy that game day one. Period.
Of both Butterfly and Hibiscus. What else are you interested in?
Deltarune chapters 3 and 4.
Absolutely.
Death Stranding 2. Despalote. The
Oh, that's a
looks
soccer first-person
Yeah.
narrative game.
yes,
This
that's what it looks
really
super cool. Elden Ring Night Rain. We don't need to start fights about that. Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Yeah.
Prime 4. The Croc Legend of the Gobos remaster. It's a gift for my wife.
Oh.
It was a childhood game of hers, so I'm very excited to watch her play it and see her be happy. South of Midnight.
Oh yeah, I had that one on there too.
Oh, yeah, that looks really
really
neat.
interesting.
Yeah. Shaft.
Never played a game set in the Bayou.
Yeah, I love Bayou games. I'm a Voodoo Vince.
Oh, wait, that's a lie. I have played Norco.
I was about to say, I'm like, you haven't played. Well, have you played Alone in the Dark?
I have not played Alone in the Dark.
never mind.
I have played Norco. Norco was fantastic. I don't know why I forgot it.
It's
Who do
like
you
you're
think-
on your top game, isn't it? One of your top.
Yeah, Norco was, I
Okay.
think, my third or fourth
Third,
favorite
yeah.
game in the year it came out.
I've been wanting to
That
check
game's
out
incredible.
Narco.
Yeah.
Yeah, Voodoo Vince is my Bayou game, but yeah, and then my last one on my list is Shadow Labyrinth, which
Oh, yeah!
is very
Grim Dark Pac-Man
it's an edgy
Metroidvania. Let's
Pac-Man
fucking go.
Metroidvania.
What is it called?
Shadow
Labyrinth.
Oh,
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think it looks very silly, but I will literally be there for any 2.5D Metroidvania. I will always be there.
The Pac-Man.
Were you
one.
there for that Ebenezer Scrooge Metroidvania?
Well, not after I read the reviews.
I don't even remember what it was called. But I remember that they made a Scrooge Metroidvania for some reason.
Its full title was Ebenezer and the Invisible World.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
You know what's kind of wild about Shadow Labyrinth, like with it being a Pac-Man thing? Like, I'm honestly kind of surprised they kept the little floating orb that bright yellow color, like that they didn't do something more subtle with it.
It has to read as Pac-Man.
Well, yeah, but there are a whole bunch of different things you can do to make it read as Pac-Man. Like you could have the
can
yellow
make
be
it-
an accent. You could make it look more like a robot, or like have it be a yellow glow. But just the fact that they're just like, yeah, no, fuck you, it's Pac-Man.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
kind of respect it.
It's so funny that it's such an aesthetically edgy game, except Pac-Man does still look like Pac-Man. It's such
It's
a funny style of it.
so Pac-Man is here.
Yeah. But yeah, if I can read the review of Ebenezer and the Invisible World real quickly, just this one phrase: execution falls short on nearly all fronts.
Wow.
That tells you
Oh,
anything.
that's damning. Which review is that from?
Shack News. That's the first one.
Oh,
It's the first one on this Wikipedia article.
okay. Well, shout out to Shack News.
Just Shack News. Whatever the
Really?
fuck
Shack
that is.
News.
So I'll just rattle off a few smaller titles that have caught my eye. Opus Prism Peak. I loved Opus Echo Star Song. It was my game of the year in 2021. Eager to see the follow-up. Strange Jigsaws. It's the follow-up to 20 Small Mazes from the solo developer Fleb. Mio Memories in Orbit. It's that upcoming Metroidvania with that gorgeous kind of hand-drawn art style.
Yeah.
Unbeatable, that really awesome-looking upcoming rhythm game that caught everyone's eye. I think it was Summer Game Fest where they had that trailer. Golf with Your Friends 2, because I'm the only person on the planet who liked Golf with Your Friends 1. It was me and my old university buddies were super into Golf with Your Friends. We're going to be having a good time with Golf with Your Friends 2. Lost Records Bloom and Rage. Someone who liked Life is Strange 1 and 2 and Tell Me Why, I'm really eager to see what Don't Nod does with something a little bit darker. Tokyo Stories, which is that lo-fi 3D pixel art narrative adventure. And The Explorator, which is that comedic first-person shooter with that flat-shaded Adult Swim aesthetic. We don't have enough cel-shaded first-person shooters, so I'm down for all of that.
Very nice.
All right, so in our last segment, we are stealing a game that Andy Tuttle introduced to us on the podcast that we called the Delay Prediction Game. And so every year at the start of the year, we go down a list of a bunch of prominent games that are scheduled for 2025, with some exceptions, some that are kind of quasi-scheduled, but don't have firm release dates. And we predict whether or not they're actually going to come out in 2025, or whether they'll be delayed to 2026 or beyond. So I'm going to quickly go over last year's results that Kappa, Captain Blasto, and I made predictions on. And I'm not going to read out everyone's predictions, just that's actually going to be in the link dump, so you can take a look at the entire table and the entire scores. The way scoring works is you give a percentage chance that the game is going to come out within the year. If it does come out, you get a number of points equal to that percentage chance. If it doesn't come out, you get a number of points equal to 100 minus that percentage chance. I can explain why this is a bad scoring system, but in the interest of sparing our podcast listeners a discussion of proper scoring
I think it's
rules,
a great scoring system, to be honest with you. I think it's damn near perfect.
That's because you won.
I mean, Kappa did win, and Kappa. I could calculate it off quadratic scoring rule, and I think you would still win off quadratic scoring rule. But let's just go down the list. Aura History Untold. It did come out. We all thought it would come out, and it did. Arc 2 we were kind of split on. I said as 50-50. Cap put 80. Captain Blasto put, in his words, Hundo P. And it did not come out. Avowed.
Arc is.
We all thought it was going to come out, and it did not.
Arc is.
Yeah.
Blue Protocol. So
We did.
this is Kappa's chance to gloat, because Kappa said it was never going to come out, and I was like, it's already out in Japan. What are you talking about? Well, the Western release got canceled, and the game got shut down.
Oh, no.
So, Kappa, you get to gloat this round.
Of course. I'm very tied into the what was it called? Loot Protocol.
Yeah.
Blue Protocol.
Yeah. I know all about that one.
Bounty Star, The Morose Tale of Graveyard Clem did not come out, and even though we all thought it would, the casting of Frank Stone did come out, and we all thought it would. Deca Police did not come out. I was super confident in it coming out for some reason. Kappa and Captain Blast were like, nah, it ain't coming out. And they were right. Dungeons of Hinterberg we were all kind of split on. It did come out. Earthblade. we were split on. It did not come out. Earth Defense Force 6. We all thought it was going to come out in the West, and it did come out in the West. Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, did not come out, and is now slated for no year in particular. Just might come out.
Wait,
who knows?
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was
Is-
this year.
Let me actually check my... I believe, yeah, you're right. It is slated for this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll come out this year either, but we'll get to that.
Deca Police
Uh,
scheduled for 2026 officially.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was supposed to come out, I think, in late 2023.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. We thought it would come out, and it did. Frostpunk 2. We thought it would come out, and it did. Greedfall 2, The Dying World. We thought it wouldn't come out. It did come out in early access. I'm counting that as coming out. Hollow Knight Silk Song. We were very split on this. Kappa was like, nuh-uh. And I was like, yeah. And Kappa turned out to be right. Hotel Barcelona. That team-up game by Swery65 and Suda51. It did not come out, and we didn't really think it would, but we were kind of like, maybe it does. And it didn't come out. Indiana Jones. Kappa was like, this ain't coming out. And I was like, oh, I bet it is coming out. And it came out in December. So...
Right under the. I thought it was going to be delayed. I still thought it was coming out, but I thought it was going to be delayed. It just what was being shown at the time was really bad. So.
Yeah. Well, what was being shown at the time was basically nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
The next up, John Carpenter's Toxic Commando did not come out, even though we mostly thought it would.
Yeah,
Little Nightmares 3. We were like, it's definitely coming out this year. It did not come out.
Yeah, because that other one, didn't that other one come out or something?
Other one.
There was another one. There was an issue because like the actual creators of Little Nightmares 3, like didn't they lose the IP, so they had to release something very similar to it that came out instead? Or am I thinking of something else?
Yeah, Little Nightmares 3 is a different studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll look this up for the link dump. And next up, Lost Records Bloom and Rage.
Yeah.
We thought it wouldn't come out, and it didn't. Mugenics, we generally thought it wouldn't come out. I put it at slightly greater than 50% odds, and it didn't come out. Penny's Big Breakaway, we thought it would come out, and it did. The Plucky Squire, we thought it would come out, and it did. We all said 100%, and we all got 100 points. Skate Story, we thought it would come out, and it did not. Star Wars Outlaws, I was 50-50 on it. Blasto and Kappa were like, it's definitely coming out, and they were right.
Should have taken longer.
Sorry?
Should have taken longer.
Yeah, maybe. They really need to iron out some of that gameplay. Steel Seed. We were kind of split on this, and it didn't come out. Stellar Blade. Kappa and I were really confident in it coming out. We're pretty confident, 75 and 80, respectively. Blasto was like, this ain't coming out, and it did come out. Still Wakes the Deep. Blasto again was like, no, this ain't coming out.
And
Kappa and I were like, it is. And it did come out.
Okay, basket.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. We were not confident in this. Kappa was like near 50-50, but it did not come out. Visions of Mana, we all thought it would come out, and it did. The Wolf Among Us 2. Kappa and I were really not confident in it coming out. Captain Blast was like, oh, it's definitely coming out. He put it at 100. It did not come out. World of Goo 2, we thought it would come out, and it did. And finally, Zenless Zone 0. Kappa and I were like, oh, it's coming out. And Captain Blast was like, it's not coming out. He put it at 0. And it did come out. So, final scores. Because Kappa went into decimal percentages at one point. Coming in third with 1,897 points was me. Coming in second with 2,000 points was Captain Blasto. And because of his weird decimal numbers, Kappa wins with 2,051.3 points.
Yes.
Kappa, you running on Pitchfork scoring?
Well, I once tried to break math to say how much Metroid Prime wasn't going to come out, and I don't think Merve allowed that. But
I did not allow negative percentages because that's not how probability works. I think I literally linked to the Wikipedia article on signed measure in the link dump for last year's. Because I was like, look, if Kappa's gonna math me, I'm gonna math back. I'm gonna dig into my. I'm sorry, I have a math degree. This is my life.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
But I was right. It didn't come out, and I don't think it's.
Yeah, I mean you're right. You got your 100 points or whatever.
I should have got like 300. So it came back around.
Okay.
It's not. Math is not a circle. We're not. You know what I'm going to link to in this link dump? I'm going to link to the von Mies distribution. We can talk all about circular distributions. Anyway, enough math talk. Let's predict what's going to come out or get delayed this year. And we're just going to go down the list. We have a list of 38 games. We're all going to give a percentage chance it's coming out. So we're gonna go in alphabetical order, and as you know, numbers come before letters. So we're gonna start with 2XKO. Kappa, what's the percentage chance that Riot's fighting game is coming out this year?
28%.
Oh, you're going 28. Quinley, what do you say?
I'm gonna give it like 38%.
38. Bones, what about you?
40%? I thought I wasn't expecting to be the highest.
I'm gonna go with 55.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right. You know what? It might help if I actually shared my screen so you can see this. You can see me entering the numbers and no, I'm not doing any funny math.
That's funny stuff.
I trust your math.
I don't.
Alright.
I don't trust math. That's why I was an English major.
You can trust them keying in the correct numbers.
Yes.
Anno 117 Pax Romana. Kappa, what do you think is good?
I'm gonna go 90%.
90%. You think Ubisoft has it together?
I think Anno is the one series that they have together. Honestly.
You know what? I agree with that. Quinley, what are you putting down?
I don't know. That last teaser was just some dude talking. I didn't see any gameplay. I'm gonna put it at like 45%.
45. All right. Where are you going with, Bones?
You'll have to give me a second. It's been 6 years since the last one. Okay. I'll go 50. I'll go 50-50.
50. That guarantees you 50 points.
Love that.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to go 85. Why not? I'm going to be confident. Next up, the new game from House, the makers of Untitled Goose Game, Big Walk. What are you putting down for that, Kappa?
I don't. Have they done anything since Untitled Goose Game?
Nope, this is their first game since Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go
There
like
was-
75 then.
There was
75. What are you putting down, Quinley?
Yeah, because I mean they don't really have much of a track record to go by. I don't know if Goose Game was delayed, but I mean that was their first game. Fuck it. I'm gonna go 80.
80. What about you, Bones?
Big Walk hasn't had another trailer yet since the first one, and Goose Game did get a couple of delays. I'll go 60.
60? I'm going 65. All right. Claire Obscure Expedition 33. What are you putting down, Kappa?
100%.
100. All right. Quinley, what about you?
Well, 95.
95. Bones.
Yeah, 100. It seems pretty much finished.
All right. You know what? 99.
Ugh.
Why not?
The only reason I'm sure about this one is because I follow Jennifer English on Instagram, and she's posting about it like almost constantly. So it's got that like feel of like a ramp up, you know?
Oh, okay. They're in the press cycle.
Yeah,
Be in
yeah.
author directing a few
Well,
days.
whenever you like cast like big names for some of these games too, like they can't go back and do re-records. You know what I mean? So like at some
Yeah.
point, just get it out, and you
Yeah.
know.
Okay. That's a good.
Yeah. I mean, they always do pickups, but like they're limited in how much they can do when it comes to pickups. So you got someone who's got a really tight schedule.
Yeah, and it's like
So,
Andy
yeah.
Serkis and Charlie Cox, and like they got a lot of big
Serkis?
name VAs. Yeah, yeah.
It was Ben something. What's his name?
Ben Starr?
Yeah, Ben Starr. No, I don't think it's Ben Starr. Is it? Shit, maybe it is.
It is Ben.
Maybe it is Ben Starr. Ben stars in everything now, and
Yeah.
you know what? I don't even mind because he's a good actor, but he's become like the video game guy since Final Fantasy 16, and yeah, they just put him in everything. I'm like, again, I don't mind. I don't care if he turns into like British Nolan North, whatever.
I could listen to he's in Tekken, and he's like every now and then he'll be like, "What is cosplay?"
Yeah, they also have Lae'zel,
Oh yeah.
the actual Best Baldur's Gate character.
For sure. All right. Next up, Coffee Talk Tokyo. What are you putting down for that, Kappa?
This looks. What is this? Like some anime game?
Oh God.
Oh my God, Kappa! Come
How you
on.
gotta be like that?
This is some
This looks
anime fucking weebs.
Oh, 50-50.
50-50, okay.
I know nothing
so-
about it. I'm looking at it right now.
It's the third game of the Coffee Talk series. After Coffee Talk and Coffee Talk 2, Butterfly and Hibiscus.
Yeah.
I've never played any of these games. I just know that they
okay.
exist.
I'm
Making me feel like some Philistine over here. That how dare I not know of the Coffee Talk series?
I mean, how dare you not know they exist?
Yeah.
How dare you not play them?
Like, you have a Switch. You've gone through the like what's coming out today, presumably that what's coming out today section of the news, and seen it. You've probably scrolled past it. Like, come on, dude.
No
Also,
one
I'm giving
used
it
the
100.
eShop.
It's
Okay.
like 100. It's coming. Whatever.
Okay, Buzz, what are you putting down?
I'm gonna go with 90 just because Copy Talk 2 did get delayed a little.
I'm gonna go with 88. Why not?
So
Just like moving numbers around. Crimson Desert, the single-player game from Pearl Abyss, the makers of Black Desert Online, and the upcoming but maybe canceled Dokkaebi.
I'm mad that you didn't put that one on here. To be honest with you.
I could put it on
Yeah,
here.
you better put it. Okay, so we're
All right, we're adding it in. Dokkaebi's getting added to. Why not? Okay, but first, Crimson Desert. What are you putting down?
I think the only other thing they've been working on is Dokkaebi, which I don't think exists. So I'm gonna say like 75.
Okay, what do you say, Quinley?
Give me a sec.
It's a big ass studio, so
Oh. Yeah, I'll go like 82%.
82. We're really confident in games coming out this year.
It looks pretty done.
have you played Black Desert?
No, I have not. I know what it is, but I've never played
It's
it.
like-
I don't really like MMOs that much.
Yeah, it's a Korean MMO where it's like that style where
That all the
Basi-
women look AI generated. Yeah.
yes, yeah, and like a crazy character, but like it's also like a microtrans machine. So I feel like once one starts dying out, they have to get the next one out because that's what the studio is kind of like founded on. So
Yeah, like if you type Black Desert Online into Google, like one of the next things that pops up is female.
Oh no! Look, but you're right. It looks like they all went through that NVIDIA yassification filter.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Jesus.
Bones, what are you putting down for Crimson Desert?
Yeah, they're starting with announcing it for late 2025, so that's a pretty narrow window. I don't know, 60.
December 31st is still 2025.
Yeah, I'll go 60.
60. You all have way more confidence than I have. I'm going with 25.
Damn, shit. Can I change mine?
You can.
Okay, I'll switch it to 40.
40. Okay. We just got an image of the character creator. You can do some pretty wacky things in this.
I played Black Desert, and you can actually set individual teeth in the character creator.
Yeah.
That's how nuts it is. Yeah, it's wild.
It's that kind of time.
I love
And then,
the-
but
Look, here's the thing though. Look at this monster's. We're gonna put this in the linked up. Look at this monster's complexion, and look at like the general shape of her face. It's like you have to mess around with the teeth and the eyes to get it to look like this.
well,
But
it
like,
defaults to beautiful, so you have to fight it to get ugly. That's the
yeah, you have to fight to look like that. That is like a hot girl with a Halloween costume right there. or like something that appears in Sorry We're Closed.
Yeah, I'm also
The dark
just like looking at all these. I don't see a single black person. I see dark skinned people, but I do not see, like, I don't see like any wide flat noses. I don't like lips can only be so big. Like, come on now.
I think I had like a character that looked like Blanca. I think I had green skin, so you get a little crazy with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty wild.
Like, what I'm getting at is I don't even see attempts being made.
Oh yeah. I don't.
Oh yeah. See, that was why I was actually kind of hoping Blue Protocol would come out, because it was the only game in that space that was attempting that. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, you look at, say, Wuthering Waves or Zenless Zone Zero or Genshin Impact, there is no one darker than someone who went into a tanning bed for an hour. Like,
if that.
Yeah, it's a little bit like, at a certain point, it's like, you know, you've been told this, you guys know what you're doing, and this is a choice.
Like, Stark is somebody that stood in line for a snow cone. Like, come on.
Yeah, like, you can't even get to, like, I'm of Indian descent. You can't even get like my skin tone in there. The Dark Pictures Anthology Directive 8020.
DokeV. Let's do it. Let's get
DokeV's next. We're going in alphabetical order.
Alphabetical order, Kappa.
Yeah. So Dark Pictures Anthology Directive 8020.
I'm gonna go 80 for 8020.
All right. 8020. It's right there in the name. Quinley,
then I'm gonna go 20 because I'm pretty sure the last that casting of Frank Stone that one did get delayed a couple times, or maybe more than a couple. So
well, it did come out last year.
It did come out last year finally.
Bones, what are you putting down?
Kind of messy. I'll go 75.
75. Okay. I'm going 80. I gotta do it for the 80-20 meme. Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. Is it coming out this year?
0%.
0. Okay. Quinley, what are you putting down?
I'm going like 11%. Like,
11.
There's no way.
The way Kojima's talking about is not giving confidence. I gotta
yeah.
believe it. But I'll say like 30.
30? I'm going 15.
Yeah, I think it's very low. I mean, I think it's going to come down to who went lowest %. But yeah, I feel like the more he talks about it, the more it seems like he's doing like another thing with it, you know, which is, you know.
Well, I mean, part of it was like he had started writing the sequel like a little before the pandemic, shortly after the game came out, and then the pandemic happened, and everyone was, what did Kojima know and when did he know it? And he had to scrap the whole thing and start over. It's like, I'm tired of predicting the future. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I think this one's a while out still. I wouldn't be surprised if this one is more 2026.
Yeah, that seems.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I generally agree.
All right, next up on the list, Dispatch. It was that Telltale-ish, or made by Telltale Vets, that superhero workplace comedy made by Ad Hoc Studio. What are you putting down for this?
100%.
100 is coming out this year. Quinley, what about you?
I don't know, 50%.
50.
Yeah.
Guaranteeing yourself 50 points like a coward.
Yep. Fuck you. Meh.
You know what? I deserve that. Bones, what about you?
I'm going 50.
50?
Thank you.
I'm going 60. Why not? And now, Kappa's most anticipated game,
Yes.
DokeV. What are you putting down for the percentage here, Kappa?
I'm going 0, actually.
0, okay.
I'm on 6 years running of 0% with DokeV. This is 3 points. I don't think this game.
You know, if we all put 0, it makes no difference, right?
Well, maybe
It all
somebody
cancels
believes,
out.
and this is like the turn the tide. Splash DokeV hits.
Existed. I completely forgot this existed until right now.
Quinley, do you think this game exists?
I have never heard of this.
This is the other Pokemon
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, and I'm looking at the.
It's Pal World without guns.
Okay, oh, well,
It's not Power World or Temtem.
yeah, Wikipedia page says as of November 2024, the game's social media channels haven't been updated since January of 2022. But it is known that developers were asked to help develop Crimson Desert. I'm gonna put that at a 0.
Okay. And to be clear, this does not have an official 2025 like release window. Most of these games do have a 2025 release window. This is one that has no. It's all TBA. Bones, what are you putting down?
So it's fully counting on like a surprise update. Yeah, 0.
0? I'm also putting 0. Okay.
What if this becomes a wash?
That'd be so funny.
It's like the one that comes out.
It's shadow drops like Jeff Keighley at SGF is like, and now one more thing.
It's like, oh yeah, by the way.
And that like remember that K-pop song like, oh, you're a rock star? Let's just starts playing.
Yeah, by Itzy or whatever. I think it's.
Oh, it is by Itzy.
Yeah,
Is it?
it's composed by Itzy. I don't know if they actually
Composed by
perform it.
Itzy.
Composed by Itzy's Dalla Dalla composer Galactica.
Okay. I don't know K-pop very well.
Neither do I. I'm just looking at the Wikipedia page.
My thing with K-pop is like every, I would say, 9 to 15 months, I get an impulse to just binge watch K-pop music videos for a couple of hours straight, and then I don't think about K-pop for another 9 to 15 months. I never know when the urge will strike. It just happens.
I like liking that new APT song. So.
Oh, Apata. Yeah, Apata.
Yeah.
But that's Bruno Mars and Rose.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
Yeah, it is a good song. Next up, again, not officially slated for 2025, but good chance it does come out this year. Follow up to Celeste, Earthblade. What do you put as the chance for this, Kappa?
84.
84. I like that. Quinley, what about you?
I'm gonna give it a 56.
56. All right. Bones, what about you?
70.
70? I'm going to go with 80. All right. Elden Ring Night Rain. Kappa, what about you? What are you putting down?
I think this catches one delay, but I don't know if it pushes it out of 25 or not. 61.
61. Quinley, what about you?
You know what? I'm gonna go 85 only because they are accepting signups for a closed beta. So.
Okay. Bones, what about you?
I am registered for that beta. Yeah, I'm saying 100.
100? All right. I'm going 95. Just in case there's like weird feedback from the beta or something, I have to retool it. But otherwise, I think it's coming out this year. Fable, which is officially slated for this year.
14%.
14.
What?
Okay.
No,
Quinley, what do you?
Hold on. What?
Yeah, I don't think it's coming out.
Don't think so?
Mm-mm.
I'm
Yeah.
also somewhat skeptical, but I will probably go with 50 to be a coward about it.
I think
well,
that, go ahead.
If anything, I stand on business, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go with my original 65%.
65. Okay. We're seeing divergence here. What are you saying, Bones?
Yeah, 50.
50?
Playing very conservatively.
You know what? I'm going to... I'm going to be a coward. I'm going to put 50 as well.
Hell yeah.
All right. Next up, FBC Firebreak, the co-op first-person shooter set in the Control universe.
The
Okay.
only game of this ilk that I'm actually looking forward to.
So I've got like a controversial one on this one. Okay, I think this comes out this year, but I think it like kind of has like an unlaunch or something. I think the shooting's going to be really bad in it. So I'm going to say 80, but I think that there's going to be something weird with this one and it actually does come out because co-op shooters aren't easy. So I think we're going to get like a relaunch almost of it, but I think it does come out.
And didn't what was the last game they did that like where shooting, like first-person shooting, was like heavily.
Remedy, yeah, all their shooters
Yeah, like
are really rough.
they're just not good at that shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna agree with Kappa. Actually, I'm gonna go 74%, but I'm with Kappa on that.
Like maybe
I
it
think
gets
the last first-person shooter they made was the Crossfire
Yeah.
first-person shooter
Yeah.
campaign, which no one liked.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's I think it's gonna come out, but I think it's gonna be like an early access, and then they're like, "Ooh, the shooting is rough," and then they're gonna like,
You know what? I don't think it's actually Hold on. Is it actually?
They're going to multiversus this?
yeah,
Maybe. I don't. FPC. It's not a first-person shooter, is it?
it is.
Person.
It is.
Well,
It is
yeah.
first-person.
Yeah, the gameplay trailer showed it was first person.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. Okay. Well.
Maybe they'll go full-on Command & Conquer Renegade and allow you to switch between. That'd be
There
awesome.
was just I was just
think that
watching
would make
as
it worse.
just like as a shooter head, when I was watching this, I was like, these animations look a little bit jerky, and that can be like the worst feeling in a shooter. You know, when it's like the animation isn't consistent with what you're trying to do. So I don't know. I think Remedy has a bad record with shooters.
Oh, I mean, the shooting. Well, I guess because it's different because it was third person, but the shooting in Alan Wake 2 wasn't that bad. It was pretty okay.
Yeah, it was okay, but when you're playing co-op,
It's also a survival horror
Right.
game, so it
Yeah.
has different demands
That's-
on the shooting.
you get the caveat.
Like,
of
I found it worked
bad.
fine in Control, but, like, first two Max Payne games were rough
Yeah.
for that stuff.
and when you're saying fine in Control, you're mostly aiming at, like, you know what I mean, like kind of not humans who are doing kind of, you know, complicated movement and stuff. So we'll see.
Yeah, you're not being shot back
Right.
at for the most part. Like, there's some enemies that throw projectiles. For the most part, they're, like, physically attacking.
I think with a co-op shooter, I think what you get is kind of like some early access or something. I think the shooting's not up to par, and then it kind of maybe goes back to the drawing board a little bit. That's my deep guess on FBC Firebreak.
All right, Bones, what are you putting down for a percentage?
I'll also go with 80.
80? I'll go with 90. I think it comes out. All right. They finally did it. They made a FNAF kart racer, or they're going to make one. 5 laps at Freddy's.
How do I not know this existed? That's my to know these things.
I think this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, that's all I was going to say was, yeah. Kappa, what are you putting down for the
I think
know.
I think 100. I think kart games are somehow the easiest type of game to make because you seem to get like there's always like a they made a Garfield kart game, they made a Crash kart game, you know, like kart games
Yeah,
just
they
kind of
just
come out of
show
nowhere.
up.
Yeah,
This-
exactly.
Good.
So
But-
there's something about kart games that makes me think they're easier to make than other ones. So I'm gonna go with 100.
I think it's easy to make a bad kart.
Yeah, that's what I
If
mean.
you want to make like a
Yeah.
Mario Kart or a Sonic Racing All Stars Transformed, that takes effort.
Doesn't it just seem like you just hear like of like a some mascot kart game every other week, and it's just like, oh yeah, there's another kart game. So
Yeah, typically some like licensed garbage.
Yeah.
But like
Or
they never make the kart games that we want them to make. They never made it. They never made Uncharted, right? Which like that was a combo breaker for Naughty Dog because they always used to make a kart racer, and they never made an Uncharted kart racer, and that is the biggest missed opportunity.
Yeah.
In their catalog.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 100 for this for a similar reason, but because like one, they're not the Five Nights, the FNAF people have never fumbled a bag, and two, kart racers, I think just because of the general audience they are aimed at, which is usually children, they don't have to be good. They don't. They just have to have an IP.
They should be, but they aren't.
Yeah, they just have to be attached to an IP that people care about and pay attention to a lot. Like, I'm thinking of that fucking PS2 Star Wars kart racer that was like...
Look, they made a fucking Heathcliff kart
like,
racer at one point.
nobody actually gives a shit. They just want eyes on an IP, and this is the easiest way to do it, and it doesn't have to be good. You just put it on at a fucking birthday party, and it's fine. So, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, which kids are into Heathcliff, though? That's what I wonder. Bones, what are you putting down for the percentage?
I guess I'll say 99. I'm still reeling from the fact that I completely missed this. I mean, I try not to pay attention to Five Nights. My reporting basically soft boycotts it at this point.
Understandable. Like, On the one hand, there's all the, there's Scott Cawthon's fairly execrable homophobia.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Five Laps of Freddy's is pretty much the best name for a video game ever devised.
Yeah, that's incredibly funny. I have to give them that. But yeah, I'm sure it'll be very low effort.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be good, but I think it's going to come out. I'm going to say 85. Ghost of Yote.
Ooh, this is a tough one.
Where you-
Because this is like, does Sony need this to come out, or do they want it to bake until it's perfect, right?
Ooh.
Um,
Yeah, this is like, is Sony gonna do what they need to do, or are they gonna do what they want to do with this title? That's the key question.
so this has been probably 4 years in development. Sucker Punch is pretty good. I'm gonna go with 72.
72. Quinley, what do you think?
Oof. I'm gonna go with like 39%. I'm gonna hedge towards Sony getting their head out of their ass and realizing like, no, this needs to be perfect, and delaying it to polish it up a bit. Like, I don't think they want to make, especially having seen over the past year Ubisoft fumble the bag with Assassin's Creed Shadows as badly as they have. I think they're like, okay, that's gonna be garbage. Like, if we can make this perfect, we can get all of the people that were invested in that to come to this, maybe, or something.
All right. Bones, what are you saying?
I think this one is very much already in its final stages. I'll go 90.
Yeah, I think this game, it's been 4 years. They already have the previous game as framework, so the tech and tooling are already there. I think this comes out with certainty. I'm going 100. All right, Golf with Your Friends 2. This is only for me.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else cares about Golf with Your Friends.
What is this?
I'll give it a try.
Kappa, where are you putting down?
81.
81. What about you, Quinley?
I mean, yeah, sure, I'll give it 100%. I mean, it looks fun. I mean, I think golfing games are or really just any sports, like kind of cartoony sports games, is kind of similar to the kart game. Like, they don't necessarily have to be good, but the ones that are good tend to be really good. So yeah, sure.
Oh, Golf with Your Friends is pure trash.
Oh, is it?
But it's fun as hell.
Oh no.
Like, it's trash in the sense that it's like mechanically well made. It's just broken to hell and back.
Oh, okay.
Like, that game does not work.
Oh, okay. Well,
The physics in that game are
well, then, yeah,
completely
it's fun
fucked.
now.
You can clip through things. That game is a train wreck.
That's one of those. Here's your slop, hogs.
Oh yeah, and I'm eating at that trough. Like, my face is covered in like rotten milk and bread right now.
My goodness.
Anyway, Bones, what are you putting down as a percentage for Golf with Your Friends 2?
I'll go with 90 just to hit square in the middle between those two.
All right. Not 90.5, which would be the actual midpoint.
Okay. Math.
That's fine.
It's not
You
all
don't need to go into the decimal number area.
I refuse to.
But decimal numbers are available. You can put anything that is expressible as a decimal number with, I don't know, up to like 15 decimal places or something. Anything that I can key into a spreadsheet. But I'm also going to go with 90. If you put, no, you're not going to put I. I'm not going to put the square root of -1 in here. If you start talking to me about quaternions, whatever other garbage, like pure mathematicians or, God forbid, frickin' particle physicists dream up, you can go to hell. I was going to say, speaking of going to hell, but that's the next game on the list. First, we have to do Grand Theft Auto 6. What are you putting as the percentage, Kappa?
Ooh, man. 100.
100.
I don't think it can miss.
Okay. You think it's coming out this year? Quinley, what about you?
I don't. Well, you know what? Like, I think now that the Switch 2, I mean, I guess it ultimately doesn't matter. It's not like GTA will be out on the Switch 2 as a launch title anyway, but I do think that now that the Switch 2 has been announced, like my first thought was like, okay, your move, Rockstar, because this is the other game that all of the other games that are holding their announcements they're waiting on because they don't want to step on their toes. And I don't know, like Kappa, I don't know that they can afford to put it off again. So I'll say 100 too.
Okay, Bones, what are you putting down?
Ooh, big sigh.
This is a genuinely hard one for me. Yeah, on the one hand, you've got the argument that Take-Two's not doing superbly well, and maybe there's some pressure on Rockstar from that, and then on the other hand, you have Schreier saying like, I think they'll push it back to make sure that the game doesn't go into crunch overdrive before it comes out, which I find pretty compelling. I guess I'll just do 50.
50?
Yeah.
You know what? Based on, if you're saying Schreier saying it, I'm going 45.
Yeah, I mean, Schreier is certainly very close to Rockstar.
All right. Next up, this was the segue I tried to make. Hell is Us, the new third-person action-adventure game that's being developed by Rogue Factor and is being published by Nacon.
Got a big new trailer recently.
Yeah, 81%.
81. All right. Quinley, what about you?
I've seen a couple of different trailers for this, and like the beginning of the trailer, I'm always like, oh wait, what's this? And then I see the lightsaber, I'm like, oh, it's this game. I don't know. Like 72% only because I can't really think it looked so kind of just like low effort and kind of boring like Unity stuff. Like I can't think of a reason it wouldn't come out. Like I didn't know there were any big studios attached to it. It honestly kind of looks like those games that you see a trailer for on YouTube, like on the PlayStation channel, and then like the end of it is it's out today, and you're like, oh, all right. So I'm gonna say that.
Okay, Bones, what about you?
80.
All right. And I'm going to go with 65 because why not? All right. This is the big one. Yep. It's a disclaimer, it's not officially slated for 2025. Hollow Knight Silksong.
0%.
Zero. Okay.
I don't think
Quinley.
this game exists at this point.
Zero. They're
Zero.
laundering money or something. I don't know what they're doing, but they're not working on this fucking game.
I don't think that's true. 50.
50? You know what? Let's make it interesting. I'm going 100. It's coming out this year.
Hell yeah, man.
Nintendo Switch 2 launch title. Let's go.
Yes.
Man, you know what?
It's gonna be such an incredible gamble if it pays off.
Oh my god. Like it's risky enough, but also like it's insane, but it's also there's just enough of a probability like that it's boosted by sheer audacity that like if you put money on it, you would make a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Convince me to actually gamble on this.
Don't gamble. Gambling is bad.
Gambling is very bad.
Sports betting now legal in the province of Ontario.
Oh my god.
Welcome to our hell.
They are trying to legalize it in Texas, and I, for the love of God, just because of where I work, I really hope they don't fucking do that. It'll make my job so much fucking harder.
Yeah, it's already been kind of disastrous up here in Canada. It's been legal for a few years now, and it's just ads all over the place. For a while, Sportsnet had like a sports betting correspondent And so every time he appeared on screen, like if you look at the live chats on the Avocado for the NHL playoffs, it's like every time he appears on screen, people are like, "Fuck off, Cabby! Go to hell, Cabby!"
Yeah, they have them all.
Die to fire, Cabby!
Yeah, like they have them like just because I think it's at this. I don't know. I think at this point more states have legalized it than not, right? Or
we can check that for the link dump.
Yeah, so they just have them, so it's just it's so icky and gross. I don't know. It's weird.
But yeah, we will definitely bet money on this next year. No, I'm kidding. We're not going to gamble. Hotel Barcelona, again, not officially slated for 2025, but I'm going to ask anyway.
I think 0%. I think this has creative differences between two creators written all over it.
You know what? Like, I actually kind of agree with this. I think it either ends with it coming out, or it ends with Suda and Swery like fist fighting each other, and it becoming Japanese tabloid fodder for like 3 months.
Yeah, I'm saying 0 too. It mostly just because I know Swery. Like, come on, man. Like, come on, man. There's no fucking way. And yeah, this either ends with the game coming out and it just being fine, or it doesn't come out and they are no longer friends.
Yeah.
I can't tell whether Swery is just wildly inconsistent or whether he's a hack who has accidentally hit pay dirt a couple of times.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
I don't know, man.
Or like an idea guy who can't, like, he comes up with the idea and it seems interesting, but then it's up to other people to kind of push it past the finish line or something. So I don't know if Suda's that guy.
I don't. You know what?
Suda doesn't have the best track record either.
Yeah, but I mean, at least Suda releases games on time for the most part. I think with Swery, it's hard to say. Like, I would normally think like do the ideas guy thing.
Shadows of the Damned remaster.
Oh my god. But like then I think about D4 and how good D4 was. Like that's what Swery can give us when he has a budget. Like when he's given the resources, he can give us a good game. And I think his problem is
that game is never finishing though.
Yeah, I know.
It's only just one episode that ever got out the door.
I know. Shut the fuck up, I know.
Well, the most recent news I can find about this is that maybe AI will port it to Switch, is what Swery said about it. So.
Okay, nope. Never mind. No.
That sounds like Swery joking around.
Yeah, I agree. That sounds like a joke. I don't think they're that stupid. They're pretty stupid.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, they might be. What are you putting down for percentage for this, Bones?
I'm all over the place right now. I'll cheap out and say 50.
You know what? I'm going 55. I'll be almost as cheap. All right. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. Again, disclaimer, not officially slated for 2025.
Yeah.
Kappa, where do you put it
It
down?
was a trailer at the Game Awards, didn't it?
I think it was a trailer at SGF.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the Game Awards.
I know it had some.
I feel like I saw a trailer for it recently, though, like in December.
It got announced in 2023, and I don't think it's seen anything since. Or at least if it did, I missed it. I'm relatively good about it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that might be Game Awards 2023. Yeah. I might be confusing it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
correct. And Saber Interactive is juggling a lot of projects right now. They have that. They have Turok.
I think this is 75%.
Okay. QuinleyThorne, what are you putting down?
I mean, I don't know, like 20% or something. It just occurred to me, like, what did this game look like just off the dome, and I don't remember. So 20%.
I don't think they've shown actual gameplay footage yet. I think it's been cinematic trailers and teasers. Lovely Bones, what are you putting down?
25.
25? I'm gonna go 35 on this. Why not? All right, Little Nightmares 3.
14%.
14. Okay. QuinleyThorne, what are you putting down?
Little Nightmares. So this is the one that changed studios and is getting published by Bandai Namco, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Um,
to be clear, it's not like the original guys started on it and then it switched over. It was never with the first guys.
yeah, because what exactly they lost the IP, right?
Tarsier was bought by someone else, and
Mm.
Little Nightmares always belonged to the publisher, is my understanding.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
If that's the case, I'll give it like a 40, 50, 50, 52.
52. All right. Bones, what are you putting down?
What did I say for Supermassive's other game? What?
You said
75 for Directive 8020.
yeah, you did say
Staunchly
75.
denied the 8020 joke. I'll go 8020 for this one.
So is that 80 or 20?
80.
80. All right.
Out this year.
It was supposed to come out last year,
It did.
and it got delayed into this year, so I'm saying 100% it comes out this year. All right, Mafia: The Old Country.
Take-Two seems pretty confident in their slate right now.
See, I think GTA's got all the focus.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Take-Two.
thinking.
I think
Yeah.
this is delayed. I'm gonna go like 18%.
That works.
Okay. Thorne.
I think this is, I think this is really dependent on whether or not GTA 6 actually comes out this year. Maybe, I don't know. Something.
Should affect that.
Do what?
I don't think it should affect that.
I don't. Yeah, I guess.
Isn't
You
that
know,
what doubling developers around the different studios thing?
yeah. You know what? 0%. I mean, we've mostly only seen cinematic stuff, and
Yeah,
it's been so long since the last one came out. So yeah.
And Hacker 13's been pretty messy. The canceled superhero game. Sorry.
Which superhero game had they canceled? Sorry.
Hangar 13 had a game that got canceled a couple of years ago. They lost like $50 million or something on it.
Jeez.
Oh yeah. So what are you putting down for percentage?
Oh. Yeah, I'll say. I was gonna go really high. I'll go down to 50.
50? You know what? I'm going 63 because I think what'll happen is Grand Theft Auto 6 will get delayed, and they'll want an open world kind of crime game to come out this year, and that's going to be Mafia. All right. Next up, Marvel 1943: The Rise of Hydra. This is the Amy Hennig helmed Black Panther Captain America team up game.
I think this is 100%.
Oh, you think it's coming out this
Yeah.
year for sure?
Yep, I think they've got to get one. I mean, Marvel's kind of having a bit of a blip of a year. I think this is something that they want. They've had a long time to get out. I think it's going to be like one of those like contractually it has to come out by a certain time, or something like that, and they're just going to shove it out the door.
All right. Quinley, what are you thinking?
0% out of spite because I'm tired of looking at Marvel shit. I want to deny them. I want to deny them joy. So no Marvel, none. Boo.
Yeah, I did like that Guardians of the Galaxy game, but that was before MCU fatigue set in. Lovely Bones, what are you putting down?
I'll give it 65. They just did a magazine preview for it recently. That seems pretty. That's something. That's better backing than going off what the last actual trailer was.
Yeah, the actual trailer was just cinematic, but I'm also going 65. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond.
Okay.
So, Kappa, you're trying to put down negative
I
50?
think it's canceled and rebooted still. A negative chance of it coming out.
So you're going with 0? All right.
Oh my god.
Launch date announced in like 2 weeks.
Well, I'm gonna go 50-50. I think if it does, I think it gets announced as a launch title for the Switch 2, and it gets announced during that Direct in April. That's what I think.
Okay. Bones.
I think it's 100%, and I think it'll be announced at the Switch 1 Direct in February.
I'm going with 100 as well. It's coming out this year. It just has to.
But yeah.
All right. Next up, the new game from Edmund McMillan, Mugenics.
Oh man, that's a tough.
It
one.
is officially slated for this year.
Yeah. If what is like end of the year, or do they?
Just 2025.
This was just announced not too long ago, right?
It was announced many years ago.
Yeah.
It's just like it got like semi-canceled and then revived.
Okay, that's
It's had kind of a rocky rip.
Yeah. It's
Go 11%.
11%. Okay. QuinleyThorne.
I'm seeing that this was originally announced in 2012.
correct.
Oh, and then it was canceled. Subsequently reacquired for development in 2018. Ooh, well, I mean, I don't know. I say 80%. Veilguard came out. What do I know?
It did. We'll leave it at that. Lovely Bones.
It's been a long time since Super Meat Boy Forever, which was their last one. Don't judge me. 50.
50. No, I think when it's something this uncertain, I don't mind the 50. It's not the coward's way out in this case. I'm going to go with 23. Why not? 23 is a nice round number. Next up, Mio Memories in Orbit, that Metroidvania that everyone thought looked gorgeous. Kappa, where do you put down?
I gotta find out who the studio is. Like, see if it's anything I've never heard of.
It was in a partner showcase for Nintendo.
Yeah, I thought I showed this to you, and you're like, "Oh, that looks really rad." I might have showed it to someone else. I might be confusing it with someone else.
Diximus?
Wolf and I thought it was.
Oh, 12 dixièmes, which means 12 tenths.
What?
It's French. It's 12 dixièmes. It means 12 tenths.
12 tenths?
Yeah.
0%. I don't like that math. I don't like 12.
I love how anytime like French stuff happens on the podcast, Kappa's like, "God damn it, I'm out of here."
That's
So
his American patriotism. He's just like, nah, sounds funny, nah.
But it means 1.2, 12 cents, right?
Yeah, I guess that does mean 1.2 or 6/5 or however you want to.
Yeah,
phrase
that's
it.
it. Yeah, it's not even a reduced fraction. That game's not coming out.
Oh, now Kappa's like, "Oh, you haven't reduced your fraction fully. You haven't simplified your expressions. Where is
How's
this
it feel?
energy?
How's it
We're
feel?
talking about negative probability." Now you're like, "Oh, it's time to be pedantic about how we do math."
There's a bank around here called like Fifth Third or something like that, and I drive by that bank and I'm like, I hate that.
Never trust you with my money.
Yeah.
Kappa hating on local business. I love this tea.
I think Fifth Third is a big bank, right?
I don't know. I've never heard of it. We don't have them in Texas.
Yeah, they're called Fifth
Third.
Third.
Oh,
Yeah,
bank.
I've
Yeah,
never
we don't have that up here. All right, QuinleyThorne, what are you putting down for the number here?
50%. I don't know what this is. 50%. It looks fine. Maybe.
What about you, Bones? What are you putting down?
75.
Sorry, what was that?
75.
75. Okay. You know what? I am going to put down 75 as well. All right. With apologies to Lovely Bones, Mixtape, the new game from Beethoven and Dinosaur. Kappa, where do you put it down?
61.
61. All right. QuinleyThorne.
Ron, is this the one I'm thinking of? Where?
It's the one that gets
Yeah,
the 80s
it's-
and 90s confused, I think.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
God, what a weird and frustratingly confusing to watch trailer. 70%.
70. Bones.
Wait,
What do you think about the next game from the makers of The Artful Escape?
I need to know the lore behind behind her beef with this game. So, like, what's going on?
Yeah, Merve's alluding to the fact that I played this game pretty soon after it came out, and it instantly became my least favorite game of all time. Found it to be
I didn't know it was your least favorite game of all time. All I know is that you hated it.
of all time. I found it to be one of the most heinously offensive things I've ever experienced.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Is this like with... Okay, we're not going to open up that can of worms.
It's the previous game the studio made.
It had what?
So, The Artful Escape was the previous game by Beethoven Dinosaur. This is their follow-up.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't need to rant about Artful Escape anymore, but thank you for acknowledging my burning hatred for it.
What percentage chance do you think Mixtape it has of coming out in 2025?
Like Artful Escape got a few delays. I'll go with 60. I'll go right below Kappa.
You know what? I think it's going to get delayed again. I'm going with 40. All right, the sequel to the popular top-down stealth game, Monaco 2.
100%.
All right. QuinleyThorne, what are you putting down?
Never heard of this game before today, but it's a sequel, so sure, 100%.
It's like a stealth action,
right.
and there's really, I mean, it's a very simplistic looking. At least the first one. I don't know what the second one is, but it's a pretty simple game, right?
I like Austin. I see Austin Wintory as the composer. I like his work, and I want him to get another dub. So 100%.
All right. Lovely Bones. What do you think about co-op stealth sequels?
I have no opinion on Monaco whatsoever, but as a game, but I haven't seen a lot that makes me confident in this game being done. I'll go 40.
All right. I just realized Monaco's in my Steam library. I don't know where it came from, but it's there. Because it has the ability to surprise me, I'm going to go with 60. Why not? I think it comes out this year. I don't think anyone's going to play it, but I think it comes out this year. Next up, the new Ninja Gaiden game that was announced, Ragebound. The Kappa.
I think this is 100%. It's just a side scroller, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd say just a side scroller, but yeah, it is a side scroller.
Yeah.
QuinleyThorne, what do you think?
You said this is a side scroller? Let's see.
Yeah, it's the retro styled Ninja Gaiden game that was announced, I believe, at the Game Awards.
Yes.
Yeah, and they had
year?
gameplay at the Game Awards. So.
Is it the same
Trailer at the
let's
game.
see. Oh, is it still Koei Tecmo, or are they just publishing it, or
Guys,
so what is?
it's the Game Kitchen, the developers of Blasphemous and Blasphemous 2.
Oh.
That changes things,
Okay.
doesn't it?
Blasphemous
Okay.
2 that long ago.
Okay. Well, that means the fucking PC port won't suck. 76%. Sure, why not?
76. Sorry, not 756. 76. Bones, what are you putting down?
That reveal was strong, but yeah, like I said, I don't know. Maybe Game Kitchen will need a little more time. I'll go 80.
You know what? I'm actually going to go with 45 because I don't think it's been that long since Blasphemous 2, and I don't think they'll be ready to put it out.
Yeah, I definitely think that's possible.
All right, The Outer Worlds 2.
Ooh, I think this is 100. I think they've learned a lot as a studio. I don't think they would announce a date until they felt pretty confident in it because I don't think they would have had to. So I'm going to go with 100.
Yeah. That trailer came out of nowhere, huh?
I just don't think they would have needed
All
to
right.
put a date to it unless they felt confident. So that's, and
Yeah,
I know.
and on top of making like a snarky joke about it. So,
Yeah, but hey, the other one wasn't ready. So this one
I'm gonna go
will be.
100 on this one too.
Bones, what about you?
I will go 80 again.
I am going to go 80 as well because I think another avowed delay is rumored, which might shift production schedules for Obsidian.
Yeah. Yeah, Obsidian's struggling a lot right now, and boy, what a great idea to delay Avowed into a more packed month than
Man.
yeah, Microsoft.
I mean, Avowed is the one that I actually care about. Like, the thing about the Otherworlds 2 trailer, like, you could have told me that was from the first game, and I would have believed you. Like, I couldn't tell the difference. Like, what was different about this?
Yeah, that could have been like a remaster.
Yeah.
Would be
It was a
completely
remaster, and it was
believable.
bad.
I think that's kind of how they're like. This is like the uncompromised version because the other one like had to come out contractually. I think so. That's what they're kind of positioning this one a little bit. I think.
I hope they bring back that angry priest guy. He's the only thing I remember about
the
that game.
drunk
He
priest.
ruled. Yeah, I loved him. He was great.
I liked all the companions, honestly. I think that's kind of where that game shines. But
I also like the companions a lot. Yeah, I really like the scale of development Obsidian is working at. They haven't gone too big, so.
I mean, we'll probably talk about this a lot throughout the rest of the year, but it seems like keeping like scope creep is what seems to kill a lot of games these days. So the fact that they're managing scope effectively is a good sign. Next up, Penny Blood, the kickstarted spiritual successor to Shadow Hearts.
these Kickstart games always kind of spiral. I'm going 0%.
0. I will say, just for information's sake, it's slated to come out in the first half of this year.
Yeah.
But 0%.
Also,
0%.
had no-
0%.
0 still.
I am putting 0%.
0 as well.
And here is why they are currently embroiled in a lawsuit with the people that handled the double Kickstarter, because the other game in that Kickstarter, the one from the Wild Arms folks, they got their money and their development appears to be going fine, but the Penny Blood folks apparently did not get their share of the money. That's what they're claiming, is that they didn't get their share of the money, which is why they're suing. And they've also said that they've been having trouble they've been having trouble trying to get a publisher.
Ooh.
So
Yeah,
like the only thing out there is alpha footage. They have shown nothing else. And the other game in development on that Kickstarter, they have a lot to show for it. Honestly, theirs will probably be out this year. Maybe late this year, Q4, but it will probably be out this year. So I'm putting 0 for this one. And I was really looking forward to this one too, so...
All right. And Lovely Bones, what are you putting
There's
down?
another one I hadn't heard of before now, but doesn't have a publisher and doesn't have money isn't a good sign. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go with 0.
Oh yeah. That looks like it's gonna be rough for them. You know what? I'm gonna go with 10.
Sure.
You shouldn't have told me that it hadn't secured a publisher, because I hadn't looked that up. I thought it was going to come out.
So
but
did I.
Based on this information.
Because this came up a couple weeks ago on the Avocado, because I mentioned that I was looking forward to it, and someone's like, I'd wait on that one.
All right. Pokemon Legends Pizza. Kappa, where do you
I
put
have
them down?
no idea about Pokemon stuff. 100%. I think. I'm not doing 50s. I'm all in on.
Oh, you're going 100 to zeros. You're adopting the Captain Blaster strategy, which is the incentive compatible strategy.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna do in this link dump? I'm gonna put the mathematical proof for why you should always choose either 100 or 0.
Bro, you said that you're gonna put like 3 math-related things in this link dump. If you do that, no one's gonna read it. Chill out.
I know it reads the link dumps anyway.
I do.
Though, like, I could put whatever the fuck I wanted to in there, and no one would care.
Anyway, I'm gonna say like 36% because, man, that Scarlet and Violet came out like way too quick. I kind of hope that they've learned from this one. Also, with the Switch 2 announcement. Well, actually, shit, maybe No, I'm gonna stick with 36. I'm gonna stick with 36. Hopefully they've learned and they polish it up some because Arceus was great, but God, it needed polish.
I don't think Game Freak will ever learn. I
And Gen 10
think
will come out later than Gen 9 did, but it'll still be broken.
Okay. Will it at least have a
what are
nice
you putting
frame
down?
rate? Frame rate?
It'll have a better frame rate, sure.
Better. Okay.
look, the Switch 2. They'll be able to brute force it with the increased power of the Switch 2.
Exactly. They'll be able to brute force some stuff. It'll still be buggy as fuck.
I think they'll do a re-release of Arceus or like another like enhanced release of Scarlet Violet for the Switch 2 like they did with fucking Sun and Moon. Like, look, it actually runs now. Yay!
Yeah, they'll do Pokemon Legends Arceus Royal.
Yeah.
And then
I think they're
there'll be a new waifu in there.
and not re-releases for the most part, is my opinion.
Yeah.
But anyway, 100%.
100 comes out. You know what? I'm also going 100. It's coming out this year.
Yeah, Gen 10.
We have 5 more games left. Next up, Professor Layton and the New World of Steam. It's been a while since the last Professor Layton game.
We're trying to think about the last one I heard about, but yeah, 78.
78? All right. QuinleyThorne, what are you saying?
I don't really know a whole lot about Professor Layton's games and stuff. I'll say 50%.
The last one was the one starring like his granddaughter.
Yeah, that's when I was
Well,
thinking.
no, I know what it is. I just don't know a whole lot about like the rate that the games come out, like what their development cycles are like, how consistent the quality of the games are. So just 50%. It seems fine.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. Lovely Bones, what do you say?
Level 5 is super busted, but at least, unlike a lot of their other current games, this one has gameplay. It counts for something.
Yeah, it's not Deca Police.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say 60. I see this
60.
being like a holiday Switch 2 game.
I'm going 85. I think it comes out this holiday. Next up, Grimdark Pac-Man Metroidvania Shadow Labyrinth.
See, I think
Yeah! Guitar solo.
this to me, I think is either comes out this year or doesn't come out. So I'm gonna go at 100
Isn't that every
because
game?
well, I think it wants to hit off of the secret level.
Yeah. It can
thing,
have
so-
the secret level.
Yeah, and like memories for those kind of things are short. So I think everybody saw that and was like, "Oh, this is cool," and they're like, "Also, we're going to make a game based on this." And I think you just got to get it out while that memory of it still being cool is out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 100 too. Like you know what? I was about to say like you don't make that series of decisions when you're not gonna be like bam ready to release a game to take advantage of the momentum. Then I remembered Concord.
Oh dear.
So,
Concord
But-
and level were within a few months of each other. That's not. It's proximity.
I think it's almost like a movie tie-in a little bit. You know, like you got this is a strike while the iron's hot type thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the game first, and not the show, but. But yeah, I'm pretty confident in this. We don't know exactly which Bandai Namco team is making this. That's the one thing that there's a question mark on it. But yeah, I'll say 100.
The sickest team is making it, obviously. So, Bones, sorry, what did you say is the
I said
percentage? 100, okay. I'm going to be the odd one out. I'm going to say 55. I think it gets delayed. I think there's a good chance it gets delayed. All right, next one is mostly for QuinleyThorne. Showa American Story, the bonkers zombie hack and slash that is made by a Chinese studio, but is set in a version of the United States that was bought out by Japan.
Before, please Google the game. Please Google this game. Please Google the governor of Texas for this game. That is in this game.
The gameplay looks really like
Oh my god.
old school. So this probably comes out. I don't know. Chinese propaganda is so hot right now. So I mean,
I don't think it's Chinese propaganda. I think it's just...
in this game.
It's not.
I don't think China. Yeah, it's all Japanese stuff.
Yeah, it's like... It's made by people from China who have never been to either the United States or Japan. Just imagine, having absorbed so much of their pop culture that they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna mash all of it together. Does it make sense? No, we do not care. It's getting mashed up.
Hang on.
Rules. Oh.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, there you go.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the president watches anime at exactly 6:30 every day.
It was precisely because you sold Texas to a Japanese consortium.
This is the good shit. Kappa, where do you put down as a percentage?
0. It says planned release date Q4 2025. And I always feel like Q4 2020, like Q4 is always like the death knell if it's not going to come out. That's my it's not going to come out that
Q4
year.
is like
yeah.
Q4 2025 is really Q2
That's
2026
exactly how I
when it
look
comes to
at
game
it.
releases.
It's a very soft delay to get out of Q4 2025. So
Yeah, I do agree, but I want to believe in my heart of hearts that I will get to play this before the end of the year, so I'm gonna go 10%. But you're probably right.
Lovely Bones, what are you gonna say?
I'll go with 20, I guess.
I have faith. I think it's gonna be a janky mess, and we'll get it out quickly.
Hell yeah.
So I'm going 60. I'm looking forward to playing this janky mess.
I would honestly be disappointed if it's polished.
Like
that will take away.
I want it to be trash.
No, slop.
Slop. I want to be the pig at that trough. Like I'm going to be like head first eating this shit. The Sinking City 2. This was for Kappa.
yeah, I love the Sinking City one. So that's I think for this one. Okay, so one, I know Frogware is out of Ukraine, so that's kind of a tough one. And Sinking City had an absolute nightmare of like some kind of rights thing that happened with it, where like they had to unlist the game and stuff.
Oh, was this about the Lovecraft estate or something?
It was something weird with the rights. I really
It was
the publisher.
It was a dispute between the publisher and the
Yeah.
developer.
and like
Okay.
the publisher said that they didn't have the rights to release it or something, but they absolutely did, and that the contract that they wrote was like I can't remember the word for it. It was like onerous, like the contract. Nobody could have basically lived up to the contract between them and the publisher. So maybe they got the publisher stuff figured out. I'm gonna go 80.
80. All right. QuinleyThorne, what are you going to put down?
Oh wow, yeah. Let's see. January 2nd, Frogwares announced they became the sole publisher of the game for all platforms, resolving its legal dispute with Nacon. So, hey, okay.
Nacon, everyone's favorite publisher with no shady business whatsoever.
Wow. Okay. I know nothing about this game. I 50%.
50. All right. Coward's way out. Lovely Bones.
This game looks very ambitious, and Frogwares is Frogwares. So I think there's a pretty big risk here. I'll go 40.
I was also thinking 40. So that's what I'm going to put down. And the last game on our list, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, which is officially slated to come out this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think the chances have slightly increased.
Slightly.
I'm gonna go 0. I think Paradox is just kind of in a mess right now too. I know that
is true.
I don't.
They the publisher?
Yes.
The publisher. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Paradox is the publisher. It was originally being developed by Hardsuit Labs.
Oh yeah. No.
It's Hardsuit Labs was taken off of it and it was given to the Chinese.
Yes.
Chinese room shipped their other game already.
Yes, they did.
That is
They
true.
did do that.
They did ship Still Wakes the Demon.
Yeah.
But in order to make a game like this, they had to staff up a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had shrunk. I think after I forget, it wasn't Everyone Goes to the Rapture. It was the one after that. They shrunk their team.
The Amnesia game? that they did?
After that one. And Everybody Goes to the Rapture came out after the Amnesia game. It was someone with like robots and stuff. Like during the pandemic, they shrunk. Yeah, they shrunk their team down considerably. God, I'm gonna say like 5% Like, I think I like the Chinese room. I think if anything, the writing will be there. Their games don't have a whole lot of gameplay in them, so
No.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that part's gonna go. So we'll see.
Well, there was a whole bunch when Hairbrain got out from under Paradox. They basically were like, "This place is a fucking mess." So I think that's more them than maybe
Yeah,
whoever at this point is developing it. But
yeah, I think though, like I don't think Chinese Room can really get away with not having any gameplay in it, just because we've only got Vampire the Masquerade, from however long ago, and like that is the version of the game that everybody remembers. I don't really think they can afford to just cut out like combat completely, because none of their games have that.
They can't Dear Esther.
Yeah, I don't
People
see
would be
it.
pissed.
Yeah, I don't see them releasing this without combat, and they're gonna have to do.
Aren't they like?
They're probably gonna have to hire
the directors, like veterans of I think BioShock. That they cut their teeth on.
May
I forget what the Dan Pinchbeck and them used to work on. So they might have experience in that arena, but
I mean, Dear Esther was basically a mod for Half-Life.
They did.
That was correct.
They did. Dear Esther started as a mod for Half-Life 2, I believe.
yeah.
And there's no combat in that one either. So
Yeah, I just don't know what their background is.
It's all
like,
narrative walking sim type games, like some puzzle stuff, but mostly it's narrative walk. It seems like none of the games they've made have combat in it. So.
Oh yeah, they started at University of Portsmouth back in 2007. So I think they went straight from students to
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so
anyway.
All right, so who knows? Maybe they hired one of the 100 or so people they hired is good at combat.
I mean, would hope so.
All right, Bones, what are you putting down as a percentage?
I'll give it a generous 15.
15. I think this game will eventually get canceled. I think it's a 0.
Oof.
I don't think. Look, the Chinese Room, probably a decently well managed studio, but you can only manage up to a certain extent. And if the Paradox is as broken as the rumors are, I don't think they can manage or finance this project
Don't you think this
properly.
feels like something where it just finally just like give the rights to somebody who can get it out or something?
Yeah,
Like
honestly. And I mean, the Chinese Room too, like if you're saying me they had to like beef up their team, that's never been a very big studio, and I think it's and I think that has partially worked for them. I don't know that their folks are used to handling large teams or anything, so there's that to consider as well.
yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, like Vampire is one of my favorite series. I really wish somebody would do something with it at this point, but it just seems to be like
had that VR game. had that
I mean,
VR
I
game.
played the visual novels even, and it was just like it felt like Outcast stories from like an actual like game. None of them really the Coteries of New York. I don't know if that's I played, it's just kind of like a choose your own adventure clicker. There's not a lot going on there, so
Well, the VR is actually pretty good from what I heard.
no.
All right. Well, that concludes our prediction game. We will know the results in 2026 when that rolls around. And if you'd like to keep up to date with the podcast, you can follow us on our website at avocadogamescast.wordpress.com. On that website, we post each episode along with a link dump that fact checks some of what we say. You can also subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, and Spotify. Just search for Avocado Gamescast. And, of course, make sure you check out The Avocado, the community that spawned this podcast, at the-avocado.org, where you can talk about video games and not just video games, also movies, TV, music, and many other subjects. And, of course, the link dump this time around will feature math. It will feature proofs. You are going back to university.
No.
You're going to learn all about incentive-compatible power
Can't
square
make
rules.
me.
The more obscure the link dump is, the better it is. I'm excited.
Yeah. I mean, I can't make you read anything, really. I can't just, like... I'm not going to, like, force you to learn
We're gonna have
learn
from
decision
now on to
theory.
be a guest. You're gonna have to provide 3 proofs and
No.
you know.
No, I don't
Be
even know how to
required.
do that. I don't
We're
even
gonna
know
have
what
a
that
quiz.
is.
It's gonna be like the square root of I or something like that. And
I don't
Yeah.
know.
You know what I actually did last night because I have no life?
Please don't
I
say
went
math.
into like an online. I'm going to say math. I went into an online graphing calculator and I was going to show you guys how quadratic scoring rules worked by like animating like the transformation of the parabola that scores your
We'll keep
number.
that on tap in case I lose next year. But for now,
Yeah.
I'm pretty good with the math.
Yeah, you're pretty good with what makes
Yeah,
you win.
exactly.
All right. Well, this has been fun. We will see you all next time. Thank you to our listeners, and thank you to QuinleyThorne, Kappa, and Lovely Bones for joining me today. Take care, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.